Dance. 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 You can see that look in my eye. Ain't gonna stop anytime soon. Roll up while I cry.
Here we go again. I mean, this is the truth show, and there's more. And there's more. I'm not done yet. I mean, this is the truth show. Please note that this is all alleged. I've never met any of these people. I've deeply researched all of my information. This is a trigger warning. In this video, I may be talking about or showing sensitive material about some subjects or topics that may be disturbing or upsetting or may bring forth some troubling memories, as you read in the description or title. With that said, either end the video now or brace yourself. Aside from that, enjoy. Can you guys hear me out there? Huh? Okay. Welcome. We have a wonderful show today. I definitely want to say that the show, I started doing this the day before my birthday, and then my birthday on the 10th, I stopped doing it. So we're going to have slightly a recap. Just want to let you guys know that. So just want to say hello, my truth seekers. My name is Keisha. And in this show, we are going to talk about, of course, Trump, the Epstein files, not just the emails, but in the files. Also, aren't you curious of why and how, a certain person picked their Super Bowl picks? We're going to talk about that as well. And someone asked why people dislike Beyonce and Jay-Z. Because they said they ain't do anything wrong. Well, I could name a plenty. And if anyone want to come up and add their, little ad lib to it, that's fine as well. But we're going to get into a lot more stuff than that. And then we're going to also dive into the book of Revelation and how it correlates with this new age. Because I feel no one is talking about it because a lot of people don't understand it. So we are going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. How you doing, Indra? How you doing, Alicia? Make sure you guys share. So with that said, let's get started, huh? Yeah, let's get started. Where did that voice come from? I swear I'll be having fun all by myself, I swear. Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna do a quick recap of the world news. Everything that's been going on, things that you guys don't even know what's been going on, because who's talking about it? No one's talking about it. Everyone's talking about these Epstein files. Do anyone know what's really going on in the world right now? I mean, do anyone have a freaking clue? Tell me in the comment section, does anyone have a freaking clue what's going on right now in the world? I can guarantee no one does. No, they don't. Okay, well, you know what? I'm Keisha, and I'm going to tell you what the hell is going on. Okay, because that's my job, and I feel that is something I should definitely keep you guys abreast. So, yeah. Okay, first we're going to talk about Spain. Spain is pushing a new rule that will block anyone under 16 from having social media accounts. So they're trying to censor people in Spain, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, you heard that correctly. They are censoring people in Spain. Yes, they are. Why? Well, they say social media is harming kids' mental health and exposing them to too much adult content. I'm sorry, we're not doing that. We're not going back to the Stone Age where they control what you see, what you feel. That is taking away your freedom. That is taking away your freedom to choose. See, they're trying to take things back. This is going to push their people to probably ride and do other things. Don't stand up for this, Spain people. Don't stand for this. Hell no. Don't tell them what. No. Just no. Okay, then we have in France. Yes, France. Now, France announced it will stop using major American software. I don't know if I know how to speak in French. I mean, I heard a lot of French people speaking. I watch French movies, but with subtitles, of course, because I don't understand French. But I don't know if I can. They speak with a lisp, kind of like a lisp kind of voice. I don't know. I just don't know. And I'm not going to screw it up. And I'm sorry, my French people. I'm not going to screw up your language. I love your language. It's beautiful, but I'm not going to screw it up. But anyway, France announced that they're ditching U.S. tech like Microsoft Teams and Zoom. That's what they're saying. They said France is announcing it will stop. Hold on. Hold on just a moment. I don't think I had I sure didn't. I didn't even have a thing for this, but I'm just going to talk about it anyway. I thought I had one slideshow with this, but you know what? Y'all should be used to people not giving you slideshows. From what I gather, no one does what I do. So who cares? Just want to let you know, France is ditching Microsoft Teams and Zoom. Okay, they want more digital independence and don't want to rely on U.S. companies for sensitive communication. So that's what's going on in France. Venezuelan opposition leader gave Trump. Okay, apparently Maria Corina. This is Maria Corina. Okay, Machado, a major opposition figure in Venezuela, literally handed Donald Trump her Nobel Peace Prize nomination medal. I don't know why she did that. The woman is insane. Trump is not even part of this new era. Only thing that he has in terms of zodiac for this new era is Leo. I don't know how he's still having this influence, but you know what? He has evil entities behind him, hoping that he achieve their barbaric, submissive, deprived, old-fashioned, Middle Ages kind of ruling. Not going to happen, but you get the drift. So she handed over her Nobel Peace Prize. Like, I will give you my Nobel Peace Prize. You are my Lord and Savior. I bow down to you. As a woman, this is insulting, but that's what this dumbass woman did. Now, here's what they're saying why she did this. It says, as a symbolic move to thank him for supporting her fight against Venezuelan government. I don't remember him doing too much, but that is my interpretation. Whatever. That's what's going on there. Okay, and then we're going to talk about Japan. Now, this is a good one now. This is good news. This is good news. Apparently, Japan, we have Sanye Takachi made history as Japan's first woman to ever hold office. Yes, the first woman to ever hold office. This is 2026. Now, Japan is literally the most barbaric place that you can ever stay. They don't believe in freedom, democracy. It's really just a particular place where men rule. They're still in those barbaric men dominating rules. So this is a great direction. Okay. So Sane Takachi made history as Japan's first woman to ever hold the office. Why it matters? Japan is known for, again, slow progress on gender equality. So this is a major shift. I am so happy for this. It's wonderful. I wish her nothing but luck. Hopefully, she don't be pretty much mirroring her male predecessors and she taken into a new direction, more feminism, more caring, more nurturing, but also fair, okay, and less violent. Let's hope that's the direction she goes to, okay. And then we have the UK. Now, UK, however, now this is something the US should definitely do, but we have Trump and his people trying to make it harder for people to vote, saying you need more identification to prove you're a U.S. citizen. So he's trying to get that bill passed. So I want you guys to pray whatever entity you pray to, make sure that bill did not get passed, okay? I don't mean God, because he probably wanted to get passed. Pray to somebody else other than him and Jesus. Pray to somebody else. Okay, so the UK wants to lower the voting age to 16, which I think we should do in the US. The British government is debating whether teens should be allowed to vote at 16. Why? They argue young people are politically active and should have a say in decisions affecting their future. I concur. When I was 16, I knew about the voting. I knew what was going on. I probably didn't care at the moment, but I definitely knew. And these days, our teenagers are very, very airy aware of what's going on. They're a lot more brighter and a lot more in politics, more so than they were back in the day. So I think they should definitely give them the rights to vote. I think that'd be a really good idea. Okay, now this is some just random. Australia banned those tiny fish-shaped soy sauce bottles. Do you guys ever run across this in Chinese place? Now I love me some Chinese food. I love me some Chinese food. I really do. I'm craving for it right now. But Australia is banning those tiny fish-shaped soy sauce bottles. You know, the little plastic soy sauce bottles are shaped like a fish like this here. Sushi restaurants, which I'm going to go eat this weekend because I love sushi. Now, Australia banned them to cut down plastic on waste. I think they should think about that part. I mean, that's a bit drastic. There's other things you can cut out than these. I mean, come on now. But if they want to do that, that's their goddamn business. I mean, one little step is perfect. Okay, then we have the global environment concerns. Mining for EV batteries is destroying natural areas. Now, a new report says mining for metals used in electric car batteries is damaging fragile ecosystems. Now, in translation, it means clean energy still has a cost, and countries are arguing over how to balance climate goals with environmental protection. To sum it up, oops, sorry, what is that? Where's that coming from? Sorry, you guys. I was playing something else in the background. I'm so sorry. I love that song, however. I'm like, where's that coming from? Okay, so just to sum it up, what I just pretty much showed you guys around the world. Oh, and by the way, Alicia, thank you for your gift. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Alicia. Let me put Alicia up there. She gave me a gift. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have to give you some love, girl. I just want to say that before I get involved, because I'm going into politics, and you guys know how I am with politics, and I don't want to forget to give you some props. So I'm going to give you some props. Thank you. When I felt that, I was like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. That was so sweet. And let me give you a salute here. Thank you so much, so much. That was very sweet. And give you a nice little hand clap here. Drum roll. And give you a hand clap. Thank you. Okay. Now, to sum it up, around the world, and if you guys want to donate, my links to my Venmo for my birthday that just passed on the 10th, the links to my Venmo and things of that nature is in the comment section. I really appreciate it. Remember, I'm doing this for free. I'm doing this because I care about you guys, and I could really use it, definitely. So around the world, governments are making big moves. Spain wants to ban social media for kids under 16, while France is cutting down U.S. tech like Teams and Zooms to protect its digital independence. Venezuela, opposition leader, even handed Donald Trump a Nobel Peace Prize nomination medal in symbolic political gesture because she's retarded and it's stupid. Japan just made history with its first female prime minister. Talking about moving into the age of Aquarius, which is moving into the age of feminism, is a perfect ingredient for that age. You know what I'm saying? Okay. All right. So, and then we have, and the UK is debating lowering their voting age to 16. Please do. We should do that here. Australia banned those tiny plastic soy sauce fish to fight pollution. Great move into the new era. And new reports warn that mining for electric car batteries is destroying the natural environment. I don't know anything about that. I've been in an electric car maybe once or twice. I'm still old school, but I've been in those cars before. But I don't know the technical ins and outs to the maneuver of these. My daughter does. She's obsessed with them, but I don't. So anyway, They're saying it's destroying natural environments. A lot is shifting globally from politics to tech to climate. So I'm glad that people are talking about this. This is good. I'm glad our younger kids are definitely getting more aware of politics because they know how it affects them, especially if they're going into college. This is a great movement. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. This is beautiful. All right, now let's talk about the halftime show. You know I have to talk about that, okay? Yes, Trump and his halftime show. Okay, Donald Trump hated Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime performance and blasted it all over Truth Social. I do not have Truth Social downloaded, and I have no intentions on downloading it at all. Okay? Don't plan on doing that. Don't want to do it. Absolutely freaking not. Okay? So Trump pretty much hated Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime performance and blasted it all over Truth Social. Here's a simple version. He called it one of the worst shows ever. He said the show was absolutely terrible and disgusting and claimed it didn't represent American values. It definitely represented American values because Hispanics, believe it or not, and I did some history, they are indigenous to this country as well. Okay? I don't know why he feels he can pick and choose who are immigrants. And he's trying to pass that cockamamie bill for voting, and he's trying to pass the bill where he can strip people's citizenship, foreign citizenships if they commit a crime. Oh, if he commits that, oh my gosh, that would backfire. That means we can do that to him. By his own law that he's trying to enact, we can strip his citizenship and ship his ass back to where the fuck he come from, which is Germany, or where the hell he come from. Who the fuck cares? Drop him off in the ocean. I don't give a damn. I don't know. And I don't mean to say that. Please forgive me. I hope they don't censure me. Sorry, I take that back. But just saying, if he does that, that will go against him as well. He probably want to think about that part. Okay. Now, and please communicate in the comment section. I want to know that I'm not speaking to myself. Okay, so he said nobody understood the lyrics. He said because Bad Bunny's performed mostly in Spanish, Trump complained that nobody understood a word the guy was saying. I understand Spanish. I just don't know how to speak it, but I understand what he's saying in that perspective. He said the dancing wasn't appropriate for kids. He argued the choreography was disgusting and not suitable for families watching at home. He got a lot of nerves to act like he care about appropriation for kids. The pedophile and rapist himself, and he caring about what is good for kids? Give me a break. Give me a break. He called it a slap in the face to our country. He framed the show as un-American and said it didn't reflect success, creativity, or excellency. Okay. And then, last but not least, Bad Bunny pretty much was criticized. They said Bad Bunny criticized ICE and Trump's immigration policies before, so Trump used the halftime show to push back and claim the performance was political. He made it political by dipping his nose into it. Trump needs to be quiet, seriously. Does he have any idea what the fuck he's talking about? I think he has no idea what he's talking about. He should really shut up. So to sum it up, what pretty much went on with Truth Social was that he dragged Bugs Bunny halftime show, calling it disgusting, un-American, and one of the worst shows ever. He said nobody could understand the Spanish lyrics, and the dancing wasn't kid-friendly. Meanwhile, Bad Bunny's message was literally the only thing more powerful than hate is love. That's what he said. So he turned it into a whole culture and political clash. He gave historical references, and I do have the video so you guys can pinpoint the message that was definitely taken away from the show. I thought it was very educational. I thought it was beautiful. I love Latino music. I am up for the whole culture thing here, and I love Hispanic. I don't like what's done to them. I don't like what's done to the Haitian people. I don't like what's done to the Chinese, Japanese, and all the rest of these. I don't like it at all. I don't like what's going on with immigration at all, especially from a man who married nothing but immigrants. He is a bad apple. He is a man that needs to be removed. He is a man that's taken us into bankruptcy. He is a man taking everything into catastrophic and turmoil and chaos. He is a man that is driven by anger and impulse. He is dangerous. We are losing our members from NATO. He needs to be stopped. And that Pam Bondi, we're going to talk about her dumb ass too. But anyway, here are some clips.
Did you notice the strange heaviness of Bad Bunny's costumes during his performance? Both of his outfits today were tightly wrapped around his body, making his abdomen look like it was covered in hard armor, creating a stark contrast with the scantily clad dancers around him. It's worth noting that his stage costumes are usually loose and casual. This time, it was because he was wearing a bulletproof vest again. From the Grammys to Super Bowl, he has consistently chosen formal, heavy costumes to avoid making his protective gear too conspicuous. Behind this is the controversy surrounding his recent statements, his public opposition to police brutality, and his insistence on performing in Spanish. Since confirming his performance at the Super Bowl, he has received threats almost daily. His parents have been harassed, and his businesses have been maliciously reported by anti-immigrant groups. Yet he still chose to stand on stage. He had to be constantly vigilant just to ensure his safety during the performance. For many, this is a dream come true for their music career, but for him, it was a moment of fear. Even so, he still hopes to use his influence to make the country more inclusive. Did you enjoy his performance today?
Seguimos aquí. Ahora sí. This is beautiful. I'm so happy for him. Now, remember, if the sound goes out or anything of the nature, please tell me, you guys. Don't sit back and allow me not to know, okay? You guys got to be my eyes and ears when I'm not. You said he didn't really good Super Bowl. He didn't really do a good, really Super Bowl. I'm assuming that's what you meant to say. I like the performance. He did really well. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, so here is more information here. You know, I'm going to dissect the heck out of this performance. I do it every year.
Absolutely terrible. One of the worst ever.
This particular video is pretty much what Donald Trump was saying. You're going to hear his intake on the Super Bowl. This is supposed to be our president of the United States, and he's seriously a piece of, just take a look.
No sense. This is how Trump describes Bad Bunny's halftime show at the Super Bowl. Nobody understands a word this guy is saying. The words are Spanish. Somewhere around 60 million Americans can speak and understand Spanish. And fun fact, only one country in the entire world has more Spanish speakers than the United States. That's Mexico. But Trump continues. This show is just a slap in the face to our country. Now, I'm going to guess, no matter what language Bad Bunny sang in, Trump knew he wasn't going to like what he saw. Because at the Grammys, Bad Bunny took a stand against ICE.
Before I say thanks to God, I'm going to say ICE out.
And so when the NFL announced last year that Bad Bunny would be playing the Super Bowl halftime show, Trump and right-leaning media leaned away.
The NFL just chose the Bad Bunny Rabbit or whatever his name, this guy who hates ICE. He doesn't like you.
I never heard of him. I don't know who he is. I don't know why they're doing it. It's like crazy.
This fits a pattern with Donald Trump, where his measure of a person's patriotism is whether they agree with his policies.
It brings up mixed emotions to represent the U.S. right now, I think.
I'll give you another example. Hunter Hess, half-pipe skier for Team USA, competing at the 2026 Olympic Games.
Just because I'm wearing the flag doesn't mean I represent everything that's going on in the U.S.
He grew up in Oregon, has 4 World Cup podiums, 2 X Games bronze medals, but also to Donald Trump, a real loser. Says he doesn't represent his country. He shouldn't have tried out for the team, and it's too bad he's on it. And Trump's chief of protocol sees disagreement with the president the same way. Represent America with pride or GTFO. Get the F out. And you can keep going back. Remember when Trump threatened to take away Rosie O'Donnell's American citizenship? Or when he ripped into the women's soccer team for getting knocked out of the 2023 World Cup? Calling out players like Megan Rapinoe, who took a knee during the U.S. anthem, as openly hostile to America. Woke equals failure. That itself was, of course, in support of Colin Kaepernick doing the same, protesting racial inequality and police brutality in the United States.
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired.
I'm so sick of him.
Fired!
Except what Trump sees as un-American, unpatriotic, and disloyal, his critics see as one of the most American things there is: free speech, defiance, dissent.
Now they're trying to investigate it now. Yeah, this is your president.
Republican lawmakers are calling for an investigation into the Super Bowl halftime show, saying that Bad Bunny's performance was illegal. Here's what we know. Republican Representative Randy Fine posted on X Monday that he and other GOP congressmen are formally requesting that the Federal Communications Commission investigate Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show, calling the performance disgusting and illegal. Representative Fine said they are sending a letter calling for dramatic action, including fines and broadcast license reviews, against the NFL, NBC, and Bad Bunny for allegedly broadcasting explicit lyrics in Spanish during the game. Lock them up, he added, alongside images of portions of Bad Bunny's songs containing explicit words. Though Bad Bunny did perform a portion of the song Safaera during Super Bowl 60, the suggestive words were bleeped out during the broadcast. You can't say the F word on live TV, Fine wrote, even though Bad Bunny never said the F word during his performance. Additionally, GOP Representative Andy Ogle sent a letter to the House Committee on Energy and Commerce Monday, requesting a formal inquiry into NBC Universal and the NFL for prior knowledge, review, and approval of explicit and indecent content. The Apple Music Super Bowl 60 halftime show was pure smut, brazenly aired on national television for every American family to witness. Ogles wrote on X, adding that children were forced to endure explicit displays of gay sexual acts, women gyrating provocatively, and Bad Bunny shamelessly grabbing his crotch while dry humping the air. Ogles went on to allege that the performance's lyrics openly glorified sodomy and countless other unspeakable depravities. These flagrant, indecent acts are illegal to be displayed on public airways, he said. While Bad Bunny's show was highly controversial, it's not the first time halftime shows have received backlash for inappropriate content. In 2023, the FCC received 103 formal complaints about sexualized lyrics and choreography in Rihanna's halftime show. And in 2004, many were outraged after Janet Jackson's nipple was exposed while she was performing with Justin Timberlake. What did you think of Bad Bunny's halftime show? Let us know in the comments. Republican lawmakers.
Oh, me either. Girl, you are not alone in that department. I'm sick of them.
I want to talk specifically about the political references in this halftime show that really got me. So, starting off, we're in the sugarcane fields.
Okay, so you guys want to know the message that he was giving? Here we go right here. Because I know people like, okay, I don't understand any of the scenes. She about to break it down so in detail. Superb.
I want to talk specifically
Puerto Rico.
About the references in this halftime show that really got me. So, starting off, we're in the sugarcane fields of Puerto Rico. Just diving right into the historical context of colonialism in the Caribbean, the history of slavery in the Caribbean, the exploitation of our land and our natural resources for the economic gain of the empire. Now we're in New York City, Nueva York. And then Benito just waltzes up to go take a shot with who? Doñita. Who's Doñita? This is a real Puerto Rican woman who lives in Brooklyn and owns something called the Caribbean Social Club, which is one of the last standing Puerto Rican establishments in Williamsburg, which has been a hugely gentrified neighborhood of New York City, which was always traditionally Puerto Rican. She herself has almost been kicked out many times, but refuses to sell. She's an icon of fighting gentrification in Nueva York. Part of the show that hit us Boricuas the hardest. Ricky Martin.
He sings too.
Bad Bunny's song saying, I don't want to happen to us. What happened to Hawaii? a blatant call for independence and sovereignty and decolonization of Puerto Rico. And then we go straight into this.
Beautiful.
And she simulated the problems with our power grid in Puerto Rico, which is a direct consequence of us being a colony, and the privatization of our power grid by the USA.
The way they do Puerto Rico is so sad.
From the fields carrying the Puerto Rican flag, but not just any Puerto Rican flag. This is the light blue Puerto Rican flag, which is the original colors. And this is the flag that they banned. And then we were only allowed to get our flag back when they changed it from light blue to that navy royal blue to match the blue in the American flag. But by waving this flag, this is our original flag, again referencing our own sovereignty.
Love
and
it.
ending it with Seguimos aquí, which means we're still here.
Yeah.
Even though you're trying to colonize us and gentrify us out of our own island, Seguimos aquí.
Love it. I got to give a hand clap to that. That was beautiful. A beautiful breakdown. I have to give a hand clap for that. Love it. Okay, so now let's move on to the Epstein files. Okay, this is going to be called Deep Dive Part 1. Now, you all know I've been deeply into the Epstein files, and I want to tell you all what I've discovered. Well, first of all, the CIA, the FBI, and the DOJ, they sat on these files for years. So we are seeing files and cases and reports that went back years. They sat on it for a year. This is before Pam Bondi and her goofy ass came into the picture. They sat it on it for years, okay, and did nothing. Finito, nada. Just to protect the rich, but still allow them to traffic babies, little girls, and young ladies, etc. And did nothing for years. So I'm looking through these files, and then on top of that, they're redacting the villains. They're redacting the criminals. And sometimes redact some of the victims just so the victims can get taunted. And they're redacting Donald Trump's name to the point where they just went home and did like a Control F, and anything that has DONT in it, they redacted it. Me and several other people I noticed on TikTok picked that up like, hold up, this is supposed to be don't. Oh, that's why it says DONT, so they redacted it. Straight up cover up, through and fucking through. So freaking sad, okay? Here are some clips. Now, this man here is supposed to be some rich psychiatrist. He was accused of RAing a girl on the island and torturing her pretty much to death damn near. Yeah. He come on the island to feel his sick, disgusting, violent ways, like every other rich person that wanted to go to a remote island where they can be free, sick, and disgusting. And Epstein offered that luxury to the island. Do whatever you want. If you want a woman, don't matter, or a child, whatever age, I don't give a damn. If you want to eat them like a turkey, we can do that too. That's what Epstein did to these sick fuckers. It's like the richer they get, the darker they get. You know what the saying is. Not money is not the root of evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. You're supposed to like it, but don't love it to the point because you get so sick in the mind. And that's what's wrong with our billionaires. They're not supposed to be in our politics. They're not supposed to be running our government. That barbaric started during the sinking of the Titanic that pretty much made it and pretty much literally bridge the creation of our federal government is when Titanic sunk. I'll get into that whole nother goddamn day. Okay? But they literally constructed our federal government. Those people dying on that ship fucked up our entire federal government, leading all the way back to the early 1900s. But that's a whole nother goddamn conversation. We need to change this. These billionaires need to stay the fuck out of politics. And it's not even Epstein. And I'm going to put this out there. Epstein is just the Caucasian lead of trafficking, him and Donald Trump. but there is a black Epstein that is leading the Negro and the black stream of trafficking. I know that for a fact. It's just that the world, specifically America I'm talking about, don't give a shit about our black kids that's being molested and trafficked and killed and getting sold. I've heard the fucking stories. There's a lot of sick men out here know who to call for whatever age to do whatever the fuck they want. There is a black Epstein in America, and he and she, whoever, is going to be ousted. I know for a fact. After we get Epstein out of the way, we're going after this black Epstein. I just want to put that shit out in the atmosphere. Absolutely. So here are some videos here. Okay. First, we're going to get a little insight of what was redacted and what was covered up. Okay. But we're going to learn a little bit more about Epstein as well. I'm going to take you on a journey. It may not be in completely chronological order, but you'll get the gist. Okay. Hi, Sky. And you said, and the reason we now have banks, absolutely. You know where I'm coming from, girl. JP Morgan Chase didn't get on the Titanic because he knew exactly. Girl, we are so here. I might have to have you co-host when I talk about this. Everybody caught up. You know. Here we go.
You're learning that members of Congress will be able to view unredacted copies of the Epstein files starting Monday. That according to two sources familiar with the plans. And it comes after calls from some lawmakers and survivors for more transparency and accountability in the investigations related to Epstein. At the same time, tensions are hitting a new high between President Clinton and Republican lawmakers over whether he will testify on Epstein in public. The former president writing on X late today in part, quote, "I will not sit idly as they use me as a prop in a closed-door kangaroo court by a Republican Party running scared. If they want answers, let's stop the games and do this the right way in a public hearing."
New questions continue to emerge today over the Justice Department's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files.
One Democratic congressman went to the House floor today to read the names of 6 wealthy, powerful men whose identities were shielded in the public release of the Epstein files. Congressman Ro Khanna is the co-sponsor of the Epstein Transparency Act. He reviewed some of the unredacted files at the Justice Department yesterday, and he joins us now. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
You have raised concerns about redactions, even in the so-called unredacted files. What specific categories of material are still being withheld, and what do you think accounts for it?
Donald Trump's FBI scraped these documents in March, and the thing that they took out were survivors' statements to FBI agents about rich and powerful men who raped them or committed heinous acts. And then those documents from the FBI were sent to the Department of Justice in a redacted form. They were already scrubbed. We need those documents to be unscrubbed. That's what the American people want to know. All of the rich and powerful men, many of them who raped these girls, are in those FBI statements, and those statements are still redacted.
As we said, you read the names of 6 men you believe are likely incriminated. How do you differentiate between individuals who were mentioned in the files versus those who are complicit in Epstein's criminal conduct?
It's a very important distinction. There are many people who are mentioned who may be totally innocent, and this should not be a witch hunt. But the names that I read were listed as co-conspirators, undocumented. And the reality is the Justice Department acknowledged that their identities should not have been redacted. And I just thought it was important for someone to step up and say, I'm going to hold these elite, powerful men accountable. I mean, there has been no accountability in the United States. In Britain, the British monarchy is in trouble. The British government may fall. The Norwegian princess may not become queen. Other countries are having total investigations of anyone who even shared emails with Epstein. And in our nation, we have not had accountability. And so it was a symbolic act. It was an act of courage and defiance to start naming names in the House of Representatives floor.
Having reviewed the materials, do you now believe there's enough evidence for the Trump Justice Department to bring charges or at least open new investigations?
Yes, I'm convinced of it. First of all, anyone who's in the Epstein files, saying that they plan to or were going to or did visit Epstein's Island, needs to be investigated under oath. They need to be asked some basic questions. What did you see? What did you know? Did you rape underage girls or see other people rape underage girls? How can you show up to a convicted pedophile's island or ranch or home where you know that young girls are being abused and then not have an investigation or not have someone ask you questions? And yet that's what's going on in America for decades. It is one of the biggest cover-ups and scandals in our country's history to see so many people in finance, in tech, in real estate, in politics, go to this pedophile's island and face no consequences.
So I hear you say this isn't a question of insufficient evidence, it's a question of prosecutorial discretion. How then can you compel the Justice Department to do more?
Well, I can't compel them. Otherwise, I can compel them to follow the law. They have not released the FBI files that the law requires. And we can go to a judge to do that. We can ask the Attorney General tomorrow in hearings. We can have the FBI director explain why those documents were scrubbed. But in terms of the prosecution, that's what the Justice Department may come to a new American president who has to do the investigations and the prosecutions. Congress can hold these people in front of the committee and ask them under oath to testify about what happened. But this is not just a Trump thing. These women were raped or abused for decades. And our country turned a blind eye. And our country turned a blind eye because rich and powerful people were involved. And some of these people have never had to ask questions. Some of them are still in the high echelons of our society. I mean, you look at Howard Lutnick, who was the Secretary of Commerce, and it's evident now that he lied. He admitted to lying. And he is allegedly, in all the files, having business relationships with Epstein after he's a convicted pedophile. And he's going to the island after Epstein's a convicted pedophile. How is that person still in our government?
So how should accountability, I mean, what accountability for Howard Lutnick should follow in your view?
There should be a bipartisan call for him to resign. I'm not out there defending Keir Starmer. I know Keir Starmer. His ideology is similar to mine and the left, from Mendelsohn. But I'm for accountability, whether it's left or right. And if Lutnick was in a Democrat's administration, I'd call him to resign too, because of his lying to the American people and his affiliations that have come out with Epstein after Epstein was convicted of pedophilia.
Are there structural or procedural changes beyond releasing the files themselves that Congress should consider to prevent similar withholding in future investigations?
That's a very a profound question. First, we need to make sure that there is transparency at the Justice Department, that when you have allegations or complaints about pedophilia, that they're acted upon. This all could have been prevented, much of it, if Maria Farmer's complaint to the FBI in 1996 had been acted upon. But there was no urgency in the FBI or Justice to take action. So this needs to be a priority. Sex crimes and crimes against children for the FBI and Justice Department. Second, there needs to be clarity in America that we don't protect the rich and powerful to be above the law. And that's why we need accountability now, because we just got to move on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There has not been any accountability protecting the rich.
And the message to every other American is that there are two tiers of justice. And if you're a working class girl seeing that, you're going to be scared about coming forward.
Congressman Ro Khanna, a Democrat from California. Thanks for your time this evening.
Thank you.
Support
Perfect.
journalism you trust. Support PBS.
The Epstein files released last year show pictures of Jeffrey Epstein hanging out with former Trump advisor Steve Bannon, but the latest batch reveals a far more personal relationship between these two men. In hundreds of text messages and emails between them, their relationship and close friendship is apparent, including in this text exchange from July 6, 2019. In those messages, Bannon and Epstein discuss getting together the following day, but when Bannon proposes a time, Epstein abruptly calls off their plans, writing, quotes, "all canceled." Epstein had been arrested by federal authorities for sex trafficking minors. Bannon first met Epstein after the 2016 election, according to journalist Michael Wolff in his 2019 book, Siege, Trump Under Fire. Wolf wrote that Bannon, the architect of Trump's improbable win, told Epstein, quote, "You were the one person I was truly afraid of coming forward during the campaign." Epstein grew deeply invested in Bannon's attempts to spread right-wing populism all over the globe, offering contacts, advice, and access to his plane. Bannon, meanwhile, seemed eager to take advantage of his new friends. At one point in July 2018, he asked him in a text message, quote, "Do you know anyone in Europe that wants to control the European Parliament and with it the EU?" At times, Epstein and Bannon reflected on their consequential partnership. Like when they had overlapping interests in Israel, Epstein wrote to Bannon, quote, "Now you can understand why Trump wakes up in the middle of the night sweating when he hears you and I are friends." Before publishing this story, I reached out to Steve Bannon for comment, and he did not respond.
Oh yeah, those files are deep, you guys. Deep, I'm telling ya. Make sure I hit the like button. Okay, so then there was Elon Musk emails. It did show Elon Musk trying to get back on the island to be free and sick, but I never saw, as of yet, do know that I'm still going through them, any info of him actually being on the island. I mean, they're seeing in, parties and things of that nature, but I didn't see him actually on the island. I just want to point that out, but I'm still searching through it. Okay. It was always him saying in the emails, "I would love to come," and then Epstein either agreed and something happened, or Musk never went, it seems, and then they made more plans and the same thing happened, and then it shows Musk blowing them off, saying he has meetings for SpaceX. I'm paraphrasing. He has meetings for SpaceX or Tesla or something like that. It was always tit for tat for a minute, and then it seems Epstein stopped asking or caring and didn't want him to come to the island anymore. And I want to pull that up for you guys. I want you guys to see what I'm talking about here, so you can know what I'm saying, okay? Yeah, let me pull it up for you. All right, let me just remove that, and I'm going to, okay. And share this. Let's see. Okay, here we go. No, this is it right here. Okay. Oh, hold on. All right, here we go. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I'm going to add that to the stage. You guys see that? You see that? Yes. Hold on for a second. Hold on just a moment. I need to do something right quick. Here's the, okay. Here we go. Oop. But yeah, so it won't be a huge, long silence here. Yes, in those files, it did pretty much show that Elon Musk was definitely trying to get on the island, but he didn't really get on the island. I just want to point that out. He didn't really get on the island. I just want to make sure we are understanding that. But let me go ahead and bring that up. Okay, so here's what we have here. Okay. Here's Elon Musk. This is the Gmail that someone produced where it has all the emails in the email format. It's easier for me to go through it this way. Okay. Let me make sure it doesn't have the visual effects is not showing. Okay, good. Just want to make sure everything is only up there. Okay, so we're going to look to these are all Elon Musk files. Okay, you guys are still with me. Okay, here are all the Elon Musk files. Matter of fact, let me just put your comments on the screen so I can see it. Okay, so here are all the Elon Musk files. They have been produced and put into this Gmail here. And as you can see here, okay, we're going to go all the way back, because they go all the way back to 2012. That is after he has been convicted of being a pedophile and being registered as a sex offender and a pedophile in the whole 9 yards. Okay. All right. I'm going to pull up the email. We're going to do this live. I'm going to make it really quick. I'm not going to get deep into it. I just want you guys to see, what he has been writing. If it'll let me pull it up. Let's see if it'll let me pull it up. Okay. It's not letting me pull it up. Let's pull this one up there. Let's see. Let me pull this one up. Let me refresh it. Just refreshing it. And some of them are doubles and triples, as if they uploaded them 2 or 3 times, you know, which was very odd. You guys hear me? Oh, I knew. Okay. Let me know if you guys can still hear me out there. Okay. All right. So I'm not sure if you guys can hear me, but let me know if you can, okay? Okay, you guys can hear me? Okay, good, because I didn't know. Okay, so here this is the one from December 24th. This is around Christmas. He seemed to always want to get in contact with him around Christmas. Okay, so Epstein, as you can see the times here. As you can see the times here, December 24th, 2012. Okay, 6:17. You are welcome to stay or just come for the day. Plenty of room. Let me see if I can go back and see if there was a message that was before then. We're going to go all the way back here. Okay, here we go. And it says here, how many people, this is sent November 24th, 2012. Okay, 9:40 a.m. He emailed Elon Musk. Okay, can you guys still hear me there? Okay. And then the response from Elon is like, probably just Tallulah and me. What day night will be the wildest party on our island? We don't know if he ever went. I didn't see any pictures of him on there. You know, Jeffrey Epstein take pictures of everybody, but I ain't see any pictures of him on there. I want to point that out. Okay. Now we're going to go. We did the November. Let's move up here. We're going to do Christmas of 2012. Okay. And it says here, you are welcome to stay. Just come for the day. Plenty of room. I will send heli, which is helicopter, to get you. Elon Musk responded at 6:07 the next day on Christmas in the morning. Do you have any parties planned? I've been working, and he has the link so you can see the original document as well to make sure that he's not, you know, just committing fraudulent or whatever the case may be. These are authentic files. And Elon Musk says, do you have any parties planned? I've been working to the edge of sanity this year. And so once my kids head home for after Christmas, I really want to hit the party scene in St. Ballas or elsewhere and let loose. The invitation is much appreciated, but a peaceful island experience is the opposite of what I'm looking for. So apparently he was like, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something else. Okay, let's see if there's any more, he said. Let's move up here. Okay, here we go. That's the same email. Let's move on here. That's the same email. Let's see if he responded to that. Okay, here we go. Here's another response here. They said, looking for, and then Jeffrey Epstein emailed him back and said, understood. I will see you on St. Barth. The ratio on my island might make Tallulah uncomfortable. And Elon said, ratio is not a problem for Tallulah. That's what he said. I don't know what happened after that. Let's see if there's any response after that. Okay, this is December 28th. Okay. He said, I will be at St. Barth tomorrow. How do I find you? He said, do you want to join us and some others for drinks on the 30th around 10 or 11? That's what Elon Musk said. Let's see if there is any information, see if they hooked up or whatever. After that, let's see here. And that's the same email. Let me make sure this is really the same email. Yeah, that's the same email. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, look, we got another response here. Okay. How do I find you? He said, do you want to join? We will only come tomorrow for the day. We'll be seeing friends in the port for a while. Return to my island in the evening. And Elon said, unfortunately, we are not in St. Bart's tomorrow, back afternoon of the 30th. And Jeffrey Epstein responded, how long will you stay? We go back and forth through the 2nd. He said through the 2nd. Okay. That's what he told Elon, through the 2nd. Okay. Now let's see here. That's the same email through the 2nd email. And it responded on the 29th. And he said, due to the high winds, we will now arrive on the 31st in the morning. I will leave and I'm assuming, and on St. Bart's for New York evening. Enjoy. And he said, okay, we could perhaps get together for lunch on 31st. He was always tit for tat. They never really got together. Let's see if they really got together. Let's find out. Let's find out if they really got together. Let's see here. Okay. We have, okay, look like we have something on the 31st. Let's see if they got together here. However, this was redacted. They said more likely a victim. And blank will be on St. Bart's starting today. That's where he responded to Elon Musk. Let's see if Elon Musk responded back. Let's see if he responded back here. Okay, we have January 1st. Sorry, we didn't connect. They never met up. See, they never met up. See, sorry, we didn't connect. Why don't you consider Clayton Customs into the Tats in St. Thomas? Come for lunch with the wife. This is Elon Musk's wife. I'm assuming he was married in 2013. I didn't do a fact check, okay? And Elon Musk responded, logistics won't work this time around. And it's kind of, it was like that throughout every freaking email. But let's see, because I told you, this is my first time going through, intensely with you guys because I want it to be fresh, okay? Okay, logistics. Now let's see here. We have this January 3rd. Let's see if anything changed. He said, anytime tomorrow in St. Bart's. And Elon Musk said, could meet for lunch. We will be in Tallulah and her friend Debs. That's what he said. This is January 3rd. Let's see if they met up. Let's see if they actually met up here. Okay, let's see if they met up. Okay, we have the 4th. Let's see what happened on the 4th. Okay, we said Tallulah's Debs. He said, I will land at 12 anytime after. Great. Look forward to it. And he said, any place here that you like to have lunch. This is January 4th. Okay. Let's see if this was not whatever, because it seemed to be tit for tat here. Okay, here we got the 4th later on. Okay. Okay. And it says here anytime, and Elon Musk said after Jeffrey Epstein said, I will land at 12 anytime after. Great. Look forward to it. And he said, I've been ill all night. Not sure if it's food poisoning or a bug. Either way, I'm not well enough for lunch. We'll have to meet another time. Sorry about this. See, and it kind of goes that way. And we got, that was January 3rd. So they didn't meet up. Apparently he got the food bug or some shit. Who the fuck knows? Okay, here's January 4th here. Okay. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I think we did that one. Hold on. All right, hold on. Wait a minute. Let's see here. It's January 4th. Been ill all night. Okay, here we go. And there was no response from damn near a month. And then we got another response January 29th. And it says, any coast plans, just email with Avitz and Sinofsky. And then he responded, no, I am focused on Tesla and SpaceX execution. Not sure I understand the context in which you are mentioning Ovitz and Sinofsky. That's what he said. And it was kind of like that through every email. I don't know if they actually mail. Let's see if they actually mail. Let's move on here. Okay, let's move on here. Okay. It said, this is February 17th. This is damn near a month later. Did your brother tell you about Jenna's pregnant joke? Will you be at TED, whatever that is? He said, I will be speaking at TED, but not there for long. If you would like to talk, it would be best to do at SpaceX Rocket Factory, which is quite close to Long Beach. And he said, okay, great, will do. Let's see if he actually went to SpaceX. Let's see if that meeting actually take place, because it seemed like Elon Musk was taking him for a whirlwind. They planned to meet. They never meet. So let's see here. We're on the 21st here. He said, looking forward to seeing you. I can either come with assistance for or alone. They might enjoy the facility if it's okay with you. And he said, it's up to you. Okay, let's see if they actually meet. Let's see if they actually meet at the SpaceX. Let's see if that actually happens. We didn't get a response for a while here, it seems. Not until March 4th. It says, congratulations, now it's time for fun. And it says here, thanks, now I need to focus on Tesla. Hopefully, we'll have that sorted out in a few months. I don't know what happened here. Congratulations, now it's time for fun. He may have had a tour of the facility. It doesn't really say anything else other than congratulations, have fun. I don't see any information saying, okay, we had a time, it was wonderful. What's up? Like meeting so-and-so, so-and-so. Let's see if we get any information after that. Okay. And it says here, thanks. Now I need to pull. So here's the look. Congratulations. Now it's time for fun. And he said this. Thanks. Now I need to focus on Tesla. This was Elon Musk emailed Jeffrey Epstein after Jeffrey Epstein was like, congratulations, now time for fun. So I'm assuming he probably did tour the SpaceX. You know what I'm saying? But it was public. It don't look like anything went on. Just him touring the SpaceX, talking, and that was about it. And then he was like, congratulations. I'm glad of your project. Now it's time for fun. And he said, thanks. Now I need to focus on Tesla. Hopefully we'll have that sorted out in a few months, So he did tour the facility. Judging from this, he did tour the facility, and he was just saying thank you after Jeffrey Epstein said thanks or congratulations. I'm sorry, and then Elon Musk said thanks. I need to focus on Tesla. But Jeffrey Epstein seeming trying to get this man along, more than likely to get some blackmail material on him so he can blackmail him. So it looked like Jeffrey Epstein was trying to get Elon Musk on the island. Elon Musk was having mixed feelings, or his schedule was conflicting with him actually getting on the island. Okay. And it says here, will you take a break in April? See, he's trying to get him alone to get that blackmail material. But Elon Musk won't to, but it seemed like his schedule kept conflicting with him actually going. And Elon Musk says, it's 3 a.m. in California, and I'm still working on Tesla and SpaceX email. We'll hit the sack shortly, but be up at 7 for a call. April should be better, but it depends how well, California goes. That's what he messaged him. That was March 4th. Okay. Let's see what happens after that. Let's see here. March 4th. Thanks. 3 a.m. Okay. And then they go March 4th again. Like Epstein responded back here. All right, let's see here. It says benefit analysis will probably show Tesla doing better with you getting more sleep. And then he said it's 3 a.m. in California. Okay, then Elon Musk says, normally I would agree, as I have found that my total daily productivity is optional at around 6 to 6.5 hours of sleep. However, I have to fly to Geneva tomorrow. So staying up late puts me more in sync with that time zone. So it's like Elon Musk is just focused on business. Like, I have to get some sleep. I have these meetings. I have to get back to you on that. That's pretty much where it just kept going back and forth. Like, I don't know. I have to do this. I don't know. We'll see. And it was just going on like that for a while. You know what I mean? And it says this. I have been invited. He's trying to get him again in March 4th because there was no response for a while. And it was like, I have been invited to the Milken Conference with New York money people. Would you find it amusing to give them a tour of SpaceX maybe on Sunday before Leon Black, etc.? And he said, we have no need for funding and won't IPO for a long time. But if Leon and others have a real interest in space, I will arrange a tour. Not 100% sure that I can be there personally, but I would try. So he blew up Epstein. Epstein trying to get these pictures, trying to get this blackmail material. But Elon Musk is strictly on business. That's what I'm getting here. He's like, okay, well, I'll see if I can get a tour, but I don't know if I'm going to be there. But we'll see what happens. They don't respond for a long time. Okay. And it says here, things getting better. Better, yes. Workload, no. And it was like that for a while. Fast forwarding here to most recent here. Let's go. It goes on like that for a while. It just goes on like that for a while. I mean, see, just all it is. It goes back. They never really met. And then it got to the point, where Epstein was just copy and pasting responses and shit because Elon Musk never got to the island. Like, I got here, have been in London in those days. See, that's all it was. He never actually met up with him. You know what I'm saying? you know, like at 2 or 3, perfect. I need to fly back to LA night on the 2nd. And that's literally what was going on throughout this entire he never met. And then I believe that pissed off Jeffrey Epstein. Okay. I believe that pissed him off. Like, damn, I can't get this man up here. What the fuck? You know, let me pull up my slideshow again. Okay. Hold on just a second. Hold on just for a second, you guys. Hold on. I want to make sure that I'm sharing the screen and everything is looking good. Okay. Just give me a moment here. Okay, so here we go. And it pretty, like I said, it goes on like that for a while. It doesn't really change. Now, this is where I personally believe the beef and anger came in from us. A man who wasn't invited to the billionaire sick pedo parties or any billionaire parties. So here comes Trump. Because Elon Musk, he was always a nerdy guy, even though he don't know about coding and put together apps and SpaceX, the gadgets of it. But he liked looking at it. He likes looking at it being done. He likes how it works, but he don't know technically about it. He want to know how to take it apart and put it back together again. He don't know anything of those techs and specs. So he's a nerd at heart, but not nerd when it comes to intelligence. Okay. So he always wanted to be a part of that inner billionaire club gang. He wanted to be, even though he was going to fake it to make it to belong. Okay. So here comes Trump basically saying, do you want to hang? But here's the catch. In order for you to hang with the billionaire people, you got to make me president. Musk jumped on that real quick. And in Trump usual fashion, to anyone who may not be sick as he, because I don't think Elon Musk is that fucking sick. I think he's more so on the lines of whatever, you know, wanted to be a part of it, maybe a freak, and I don't know, he may even mess with some minors. I don't know if he done anything drastic in terms of rape or anything. I haven't read anything about that. But anyway, but here's the thing. Trump invited him, okay, saying he can be a part of it, okay? But Elon Musk, I believe he kicked I love space and tech. He's a like, I love space, I love technology geek. You know, he kicked Elon Musk's ass to the curb. That pissed Musk off, and the rest is history. And then we saw the ramifications and the come of that all through X. He was like, okay, then fine, show the Epstein file, because he knew Trump was at the Epstein Island. He knew that. Elon Musk never got a chance to do that. Hooked up at some parties, you know, some public events where there were other billionaires there. Okay, maybe took a picture there. But personally, with pictures, Epstein wanted to get him on that island, wanted to get him with a minor to get some blackmail material on this man. He wanted to do that. But Elon Musk was always busy. His schedule was always conflicting, which is why he said show the Epstein files, because he had nothing to hide. I didn't see anything here yet, but I'm still going through it. I'll let you know if anything changes, okay? Now, that's Elon Musk. That billionaire has been clear as far as I am concerned in terms of him actually getting on that island. I think they met at public events with other billionaires, but I don't think Elon Musk's been on that island. I don't think Epstein has any pictures with any minors. I haven't seen any yet, and I haven't saw any on TikTok yet that were real. But there were other billionaires that was definitely on that island. Now, I have to admit, I don't recognize many of the rich men in the files, and I had to research many of them. However, watching Attorney General Pam Bondi sit up there and ignore all the victims and not care of the illegal cover-up redaction in the Epstein files of criminals, pedos, and conspirators, I never saw a horrible disgrace and incompetent woman in my life. Does she have daughters? Because she literally sent in a message to her daughters. This is the message she sent. She said, I don't care, baby, if you get raped, molested, whoever, but if the person is paying your bills and you have enough money, go for it. Push it under the rug, because that's literally what the fuck she sent a message to all those victims. And as a woman, that is a huge fucking embarrassment. A huge embarrassment. She's an embarrassment for women in America and needs to be voted out and put to jail and made an example out of. Okay. So in these next clip, you will hear, see, and learn about some of the biggest names and billionaires being exposed, and see Pam Bondi get embarrassed and also see her arrogance. Take a look at these clips.
The Epstein files released
Make sure you
last
guys
year
share.
showed pictures of Jeffrey Epstein hanging out with former Trump advisor Steve Bannon, but the latest batch reveals a far more personal relationship between these two men. In hundreds of text messages and emails between them, their relationship and close friendship is apparent, including in this text exchange from July 6, 2019. In those messages, Bannon and Epstein discuss getting together the following day, but when Bannon proposes a time, Epstein abruptly calls off their plans, writing, quotes, "all canceled." Epstein had been arrested by federal authorities for sex trafficking minors. Bannon first met Epstein after the 2016 election, according to journalist Michael Wolff in his 2019 book, Siege, Trump Under Fire. Wolff wrote that Bannon, the architect of Trump's improbable win, told Epstein, quote, "You were the one person I was truly afraid of coming forward during the campaign." Epstein grew deeply invested in Bannon's attempts to spread right-wing populism all over the globe, offering contacts, advice, and access to his plane. Bannon, meanwhile, seemed eager to take advantage of his new friends. One point in July 2018, he asked him in a text message, quote, "Do you know anyone in Europe that wants to control the European Parliament and with it the EU?" At times, Epstein and Bannon reflected on their consequential partnership. Like when they had overlapping interests in Israel, Epstein wrote to Bannon, quote, "Now you can understand why Trump wakes up in the middle of the night sweating when he hears you and I are friends." Before publishing this story, I reached out to Steve Bannon for comment, and he did not respond.
Right under our noses. Okay, here's what I want to clear up. Oh, yeah, definitely. Here's what I want to clear up. I want to clear up Ellen DeGeneres' name because a lot of people are trying to accuse Ellen DeGeneres part of the trafficking when she was trying to expose the trafficking. This Oscar thing was her exposing what Jeffrey Epstein was doing. And shortly after she did these Oscars, all the shit started happening at her show. Okay? It started happening shortly after when she started exposing Diddy and his parties and everyone else. What happened? All of a sudden, her crew allegedly started blacklisting her and wanted her gone to the much needed for her to get out of town and move to the UK. How crazy is that? They ran her out of town for exposing the truth. And we already know what happens to people who expose the truth. They are ridiculed, they are lynched, and they are literally silenced and sometimes permanently eliminated. Okay? With that knowledge of Pizzagate, with that knowledge of Epstein, I want you to take a good look at this freaking clip now with that mindset and the knowledge that you have right now. And then you will see that she was trying to expose these people. Okay?
They did a live child auction at the 2014 Oscars, and then we all laughed.
Hi. Hey, Jeffrey, how are you?
And then she says hello to Jeffrey Epstein at the beginning.
How's everybody doing? Good? Is anybody hungry? I just feel like everybody's got to be hungry right now. Good. I was hoping you'd say that because I have this crazy idea that I will order pizza. And so if I do, I don't want to go to waste. Who will eat pizza if I... Jennifer? Yes? Harrison? Yes? Come on. All right. Too large? What do you think? I'm going to order some pizza. That's what I'll do.
And then the money in the hot part was like mocking the church. And then the names like Kevin Spacey, Weinstein, like none of that aged well.
So I borrowed Pharrell's hat and I thought I'd pass it around and get some money for the pizza because nobody ever really, what do you have, Harvey? 200? Start? Let's see. What do you have, John? Would you have 20? Kevin?
That's for you.
Thanks so much. Okay.
And then notice that she changes to white when she serves the pizza. And you know what party is all white?
Come on down. We have cheese. We have different kinds. Who's hungry? Who's going to eat on this?
You guys understand, Ellen DeGeneres is Aquarius, and we are notorious for giving clues and leaving breadcrumbs without verbally revealing our truth. I told you guys that about my identity and things of that nature. We are so secretive and we are so protective, but we are also truth speakers.
Side, okay. Cheese, that's a cheese. Yeah. Julia Weinstein. Who's your favorite movie star? They're here. Who do you want to talk to? The whole thing? All right, great. And then I don't have any money. Who here has... Sandy? Where's Harvey Weinstein? Harvey. No pressure, only a billion people watching. Whatever you feel is right.
It's like they had an inside joke that they thought would never get out. Like they went really overboard with the pizza obsession, which I feel like makes it more suspicious. And then it's like if they were talking in code, pizza means children because we know about Pizzagate. And then based on that, cheese is girl, meat hot dog would be boy and they talk about it in code because they get off to doing it in front of everybody secretly. Like only the elite understand what's going on. What other purpose would there be for this? If you don't believe me, explain why all of this nonsense. Let me know what you think about this. Obviously, you don't have to believe this. It's just fun. It's a conspiracy theory. And come over here for longer freaky videos.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now we're going to get into the Pam Bondi hearing. This woman, I just want to warn you how, trying to prepare myself because she, here we go.
Donald Trump attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency.
I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath, and this is on videotape. You said there's no evidence of crime. I'm showing you. Here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center. He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was going to stop the limo and hurt Donald Trump. No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness.
Nope.
You need to interview this witness immediately. Epstein should rot in hell. So should the men who patronized his operation. And as we sit here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
The gentleman has expired.
Oh, I just want to punch her in the motherfucking face. Oh, horrible woman. Just horrible. She should be put into the dictionary as the most disgraceful person on the fucking planet. Just embarrassing.
Earth.
She has the biggest Stockholm syndrome on the freaking planet. You gotta understand, Pam Bondi was a victim. Pam Bondi and the Speaker of the House was a victim of Donald Trump in the past. Apparently, Donald Trump offered her a job, maybe gave her a little money, some loans and stuff. And as usual, for some really weak-minded victims, she fell prey to this little ploy. The biggest Stockholm syndrome on the fucking planet. Seriously. She have no idea that she being played. You think Trump gonna throw up under the bus? You think Trump is gonna save her when she get thrown in jail? Hell no. He gonna pretty much just acknowledge her altogether, especially if she gonna bring him down with him. And she gonna see that and find that out the hard way. And I'm glad she is, because she's really cocky and she's really arrogant throughout this entire hearing and very insensitive toward the victim. She wouldn't even acknowledge their existence.
Shaking. Even before the hearing began, the stage was set for confrontation.
And we are all going to get in her face and grill her.
You're running a massive Epstein cover-up right out of the Department of Justice.
Inside, members of Congress set the tone for a bruising encounter.
You're siding with the perpetrators and you're ignoring the victims.
Attorney General Pam Bondi here to face criticism for her handling of the Epstein files, in which perpetrators of abuse were redacted and often victims were not.
I loved the torture video.
The contrast graphically illustrated the mood increasingly combative.
Chairman,
Why?
I have asked.
Didn't she ask Merrick Garland this?
I am
Twice.
reclaiming my
Sat in my
time, and
chair.
when I
will
reclaim my
continue to
time,
answer.
it is
Mr. Chairman, the gentlelady has
I'm
reclaimed her
not going
time.
to get in the gutter for her theatrics.
to the survivors in the room.
Sitting directly behind Pam Bondi, several survivors, not given the right to speak, but still capable of showing their contempt for the way Trump's Department of Justice has treated them.
Please raise your hands if you have still not been able to meet with this Department of Justice.
There was no apology
So
from
sad.
America's most senior law official, neither was there even an acknowledgement of the survivors behind her.
She never even looked at him.
Chairman Jordan, I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people.
More
Oh, no, she
verbal
didn't.
combat with few answers.
Excuse me, I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No, you can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch. Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, I
anything.
did tell you because we saw what you did in the
You're
Senate.
a lawyer. I'm not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
This isn't a circus. This is a hearing.
With her back against the wall, Pam Bondi reached for a familiar refrain.
This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. The Dow is over 50,000.
Incredibly, in a hearing about sexual abuse, she suggested members should focus on the US economy.
Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming.
Chief refused to even look at the survivors behind her. What were you thinking?
I really couldn't believe it, just on a human level.
And yes, UK media was definitely there. Yeah, UK media was definitely there. I honestly don't think that she knew the rules of the floor until one of the other congressmen, representative, gave her a layout of the rules. And then if you notice after that, she followed them. I don't think she knew the rules. I think she thought she was in a regular court hearing and you just say this, talk over like we're in Judge Judy or some goddamn where. I don't think she knew the rules because she's stupid. I'm still wondering how in the hell did she get her degree? What cases did she try? Jasmine Crockett asked the serious, most efficient and wanting to know freaking question. Eager question that people was definitely pondering. I do have that clip as well.
I thought that I was prepared for anything, and I was certainly prepared for that. But I thought that she
can
would
have that
take the
diaper
opportunity
and fuck.
to turn around to the survivors who were right there and say to them, I'm sorry.
Well, this hearing has created a lot of heat and light, but very little clarity for the survivors about how the Department of Justice so mishandled these files.
It's incredibly disappointing to hear our own DOJ won't protect victims or survivors. So we're really disappointed in it.
It's an embarrassment to our country that she can't even acknowledge that we were sitting there. She didn't acknowledge that we were sitting there.
Chairman, she's embarrassing you.
Survivors felt instead of being treated with dignity and respect today by Pam Bondi, they were simply ignored. Dan Rivers, ITV News, Washington.
This is an embarrassment for America. She needs to be seriously voted out. Congress needs to vote her the fuck out.
To the survivors in the room, if you are
Here's
willing,
another,
please
just in case
stand.
you guys missed that. Closer look here. Here are the survivors. These survivors are grown now.
And if you are willing, please raise your hands if you have still not been able to meet with this Department of Justice.
Take a look. There we go.
Please know for the record that every single survivor has raised their hand.
Pam Bondi is for the criminals.
Attorney General Bondi, you apologize to the survivors in your opening statement for what they went through at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein files and their information?
She did not do that. She reflected and started bringing up stats. Here is another representative also speaking to Pam Bondi and her doing what she usually do. You guys are gonna fucking hate her.
You're siding with the perpetrators and you're ignoring the victims. That will be your legacy unless you act quickly to change course. You're running a massive Epstein cover-up right out of the Department of Justice. You've been ordered by subpoena and by Congress to turn over 6 million documents, photographs, and videos in the Epstein files, but you've turned over only 3 million. You say you're not turning over the other 3 million because they're somehow duplicative, but we know that there are actual memos of victim statements in there. And you also took down the Department of Justice's prosecution memo from 2019. So it's clearly not all duplicative, but even if it were, why not release it? Just release all the duplicative stuff. In the half you did produce, you redacted the names of abusers, enablers, accomplices, and co-conspirators, apparently to spare them embarrassment and disgrace, which is the exact opposite of what the law ordered you to do. Even worse, you shockingly failed to redact many of the victims' names, which is what you were ordered to do by Congress. Some of the victims had come forward publicly, but many had not. Many had kept their torment private, even from family and friends. But you published their names, their identities, their images on thousands of pages for the world to see. So you ignored the law, and even with over 100,000 employees at your disposal, you acted with some mixture of staggering incompetence, cold indifference, and jaded cruelty towards more than 1,000 victims raped, abused, and trafficked. This performance screams cover-up. Convicted sex trafficker and groomer Ghislaine Maxwell opened the gates of hell to Virginia Giuffre and hundreds of other victims, as Virginia recorded in her remarkable book, Nobody's Girl. But when Maxwell was subpoenaed to come testify before Congress, you and Todd Blanche quickly moved her from a higher security prison to a minimum security camp in Texas, where she's enjoyed 5-star treatment, including catered meals, private gym time, and access to a therapy puppy.
Sad. And you see the cavalier and the arrogant freaking attitude. She's not even fucking listening. Dude is seriously talking to her. She's flipping through the page like she's looking at a photo book or something. Yes, I can't believe it either. Oh, there's more. I want you guys to see how cruel she is. And I can't, if a MAGA person is still with this, you need to not be friends with them, because they're admitting they're pedos and rapists and racists. Because if you're still with this woman and you're still with this party, that's literally what you're agreeing to.
For wanting the release of the files. He blamed Barack Obama. Republicans voted against the release of the files in the Rules Committee. Then they refused to even return to the Rules Committee until they could be protected from future votes on the release. Speaker Johnson sends Congress home a day early before break. They sent the Deputy Attorney General to meet with Maxwell. She said something favorable about the president. Miraculously, she gets transferred to a minimum security facility. No one can explain why. Miraculously, the leaks to the Wall Street Journal stopped. We come back from break. We have the Massey discharge petition. Republicans drop a rule, a non-binding resolution trying to kill the Massey discharge petition. The White House says passing the Massey discharge petition is a hostile act. Trying to stop the necessary 218 signatures, according to Republican members that signed it, the White House brought them into the Situation Room, the place where the president goes for time of war, promising things like appropriations or maybe even to primary them. People in the room say you were there. It didn't work. We get the 218 signatures. We eventually passed the Massey petition. You guys didn't release the files. You were forced by Congress. Every member of the House except one, and the entire Senate. The reason the president signed it is because it was a veto-proof majority. We can't agree on anything, and yet the entire House but one member and the whole Senate forced the administration to release the files. Kash Patel under oath said to Senator Kennedy, the FBI is not in possession of any credible evidence that Epstein trafficked girls to anyone but himself. We know now that's not true. According to documents, Epstein had a worldwide sex trafficking ring. Girls from Poland, Czechoslovakia, Russia, Paris, modeling agencies sending him girls. He even had a relationship with a summer camp where he groomed girls at a picnic table. Ghislaine Maxwell says 29 Epstein associates cut secret DOJ deals. Turns out there is a list. 6 names readily available if you unredact them. Co-conspirators named, but we got them when you unredact them. Maxwell recently tells a House Oversight Committee that she wants clemency to release more names. Kash Patel under oath said Trump's name appears less than 100 times in the files. We now know that's not true. Trump's name appears more times in the Epstein files than God's name appears in the book about God. Okay, by the way, this is the Trump Bible. Move over, King James. Trump's name also appears more times in the Epstein file than Harry Potter's name appears in the 7 books about Harry Potter. Lutnick says that in 2008 he went to Epstein's home, says he had a massage
and
table
again,
in the
she's
living
not
room.
listening.
But Epstein said he got one every day, that it was the right type of massage. He and his wife decide to leave and say they'll never be in a room with him again. Howard then says, I'm sure the Epstein stuff is all on video. He was the greatest blackmailer of all time. Well, how would Howard know that? But now the files are public. And in 2012, we found out that he and his family are on Epstein Island after Epstein pled guilty to state charges. I'm from Florida. I take my family to Disney World, not to Epstein Island. There are documents in the files that dispute the president's claim that he kicked Epstein out of his club. Allegedly, the president said that he asked Epstein to leave. Supported now that's disputed though, statements from the manager of the club. Now, Madam Attorney General, I have like 25 seconds left. So because I'm curious, and I'd like to see, flip to the Jared Moskowitz section of the binder. I'm interested to see what staff provided on the oppo on me. And because we're in the Olympics, I'm going to give it a grade. I just want to see how good it is.
Yeah.
So give me your best one.
So first of all, nothing is funny about mocking the Bible and holding up a Bible. That's what you did. You made a joke, and I find it offensive. That's all I have to say.
I want it from the burn book.
Shame.
I want it from
Of
the burn
everything
book,
he
which is
just
the best
said,
one.
she remembers that part. You got to be
Has
freaking
expired.
kidding me.
The gentleman from Wisconsin's recognition.
Of everything he just fucking said, she comments on that, which means she was not listening. She was just sitting there, just not listening. Here's Jasmine Crockett. Hold on. Why is there no sound? Hold on for a second, you guys. I don't think there's a sound for her video. Just give me a moment. Nope, there's no sound for her video. Sorry about that, you guys. All right, anyway, sorry about that. Okay, now for this particular video here, we have Pam Bondi. She's going to give you another perspective of Pam Bondi and why Pam Bondi should be worried because the past may repeat itself. Take a listen.
Somebody really needs to remind Pam Bondi that Richard Nixon didn't do any jail time, but you know who did? His attorney general. You know who else did? Chief of staff. You know who else did? Special counsel. So watching her sit up there on that stand today and lie to everybody in that room about what we all know to be the truth is mind-boggling to me. And as if it wasn't already embarrassing enough to be from the free state of Florida, where I happen to live, home of, Mar-a-Lago, Ron DeSatan. I've already experienced Pam Bondi as an AG here for our state. And if anybody deserves to do jail time, along with all of these fuckers that are out here doing these wild things to keep the Epstein files hidden away from everybody and putting them out there in the open, it's her. As a woman, I can't even imagine sitting up there and lying the way that she has. So I hope she remembers. I hope somebody reminds her that it's very unlikely that Donald Trump will ever do any jail time, which is crazy. But I just hope that we see a repeat of some of these folks, because when it all comes crashing down, her head's going to roll.
He should, because he got angst. Whatever.
For wanting to
I'm
release
not
the
done
files.
yet. Now, this lady here is going to give you a kind of a background on Pam Bondi and her little tenure in Florida.
I need every white woman to know she is not far removed from being Pam Bondi. And by that, I mean putting yourself in harm's way, in direct danger, to uphold patriarchy and white supremacy. That's literally what she's doing right now. That's what she's always done her entire career, is she's been able to advance in her career due to her proximity to whiteness and patriarchal standards. And so she is continuing to do that, even while testifying in front of Congress and perjuring herself to her own detriment. She will fall and die on that sword because she has been so well trained throughout her lifetime, from the generations before her, that if you just stick really close to white supremacy and patriarchy, to the white men in charge calling the shots, that you will succeed, that you will be fine. You will be master's favorite little pet, and you will get all the treats. So take it as a word of warning to any woman, but especially white women. When you subscribe to misogyny and racism, you are upholding white supremacy and patriarchy. Those two systems are not meant to help you or keep you safe. They are meant to keep you below white men and fighting with other women, fighting with other minority classes that we have in this world. And it keeps the white men on top to continue perpetrating patriarchal standards, white supremacy on everyone else. White women are the reason Trump is in office. It was like 54% of white women in 2024 voted for Trump. That's a fucking travesty. Travesty. And why? Proximity to whiteness. Proximity to the men in charge. And it's bullshit.
Freaking simity.
So anyways, think real hard about the systems that you uphold, about who you support, what hill you're willing to die on, and how you uphold these systems. Internalized misogyny, internalized racism are very, very real. When you find yourself talking about how bad feminism is, right? Feminists, they're the worst. Feminists are the reasons you have bank accounts. Feminists are the reasons you can buy a house. Feminists are the reasons you can have a job. Feminists are the reasons why you can't get fired for being pregnant. They are the reason why sexual harassment is illegal in the workplace. They're the reason why it's illegal for your husband to rape you. Because guess what? Used to be perfectly fine and legal. Like up until the 90s, I think, was the last state that passed a law that that husbands cannot force themselves on their wives. Think about that. Every time you fight against feminism, every time you fight to uphold patriarchy, every time you fight against being anti-racist, right? Like, it's not enough just to say, oh, I'm not racist. You have to actively fight against racism at a systemic level. You are putting yourself one step closer to being Pam Bondi. And I guarantee you, they will throw you under the bus before you can even blink. She will go to jail, 100%. She's going to jail. It might not be right now, but she's going to jail at some point. How many men are going to go to jail? It'll be interesting to see. If justice is served, a whole hell of a lot of them will be going to jail. But let's look at the Epstein files. Who's in jail right now for the Epstein files? A woman. So you better believe, just because you're master's favorite dog doesn't mean they won't kick you and shoot you.
Facts. I have to give her an applause. That was beautifully spoken. Absolutely. Yes. Hell yeah. And I got to give her this as well. I got to give her this because this was beautifully spoken. She said a mouthful, held to the freaking yes. Got to give her a salute. Yes, definitely. Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
They say he died in a cell, but some say the nose.
Oh, this is about Epstein death. People are still, in the conspiracy that he's still alive or not. I'm still, debating if that's true or not. I instinctively, I do believe he is alive, but I need proof. Let's see what this says. You and I are watching this video live together. I want to watch this video live together with you guys.
Shape on that body doesn't even match him. Official reports say he unalived himself in 2019, but the 2026 files tell a different story. If you look closely at the final photos they released, people are noticing the facial structure and nose shape don't match the original JE at all. What's even weirder is that he had a very specific tat on his arm that is 100% missing from the body in that picture. A leaked online post, allegedly from a staff member on duty that night, claims that he wasn't found. He was relocated while the cameras were off. The timing is looking a little sus, don't you think? While everyone was distracted, a private flight was booked through a shadow company. That company didn't close in 2019. It stayed active and funded all the way until right now in 2026. Why keep a ghost travel account open for 7 years? Some theorists believe he never actually stopped moving. They're pointing to strange signals still coming from that secret location. The theory is that the 3 million pages were just a distraction to keep the man with the secrets protected. Instead of a ghost, they're suggesting he's an asset still watching from the shadows. Come and file, and I'll send you a secret document which will shock you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Is he alive? I don't know. Is he?
We're off.
Oh, since Trump's been in office, his popularity has considerably been declining. I can't play the music because it's probably copyrighted, so we're not gonna play the music. Okay. Oh yeah, this is this more than likely was like this initially before he rigged the election, but you get my drift. Yeah, look at that. Mm-hmm. This is where it's turning into. And I think it was like this initially before the whole rig election malarkey. Yeah, this is where we at right now. This is where we at. Judging from the stats and the marches and the responses from that area, this is where we're at currently. Oh yeah. I don't know how he think he's gonna win midterms. Only way he's gonna win I can't even speak. The only way he's gonna win midterms if he cheats, which is why he's trying to implement this need further proof ID and able to take away people's citizenship, foreign citizenship, which is against the Constitution. He cannot do, but he don't know what the Constitution says, and he never listened to it. So he tried to pass a bill for that to be enacted. Let's hope that the Senate has a conscience this time and they don't pass that shit, or they don't cheat and pass it like they did that big beautiful bill, which I think wasn't passed legally. I think it was forged and seriously. I'm gonna go ahead and let that right because I'm getting a headache. Anyway, let's move on here. Okay, here is my intro. We're about to move into some dangerous territory. Here is my intro for that. You're blinded by them. There we go. All right, in this next particular subject, we are going to talk about, yes, I know many of you would say that Jay-Z is the man and he brought millions of views to the Super Bowl. Like he brought millions of views to the Super Bowl. He turned the Super Bowl halftime show into something triumphant. He brought people to the seat. He brought this and he made, I'm trying to think of a polite words to say because my anger is definitely starting to escalate. He helped make powerful statements with his chosen, okay, act and entertainment for the Super Bowl halftime show. Okay. You would say that he broken barriers. And guess what? I will agree with you. Okay. However, let's take a little closer look at the artists he picked for the halftime show. Okay. Now, remember, I don't know who this gentleman is. He seems to always pop up in pictures, but you know who this is. And this is Desiree Perez. Take a look at Miss Desiree Perez, the evil incarnated herself. Okay, so yeah, look at this evil person. She is the power behind him. Okay, she has the connections to CIA, foreign leaders, owners, CEOs. She's the Ghislaine. Yeah. To him. That's who she is to him. Okay? Not Beyonce, because he's just trying to keep Beyonce, happy with, buying awards, showering her with lavish gifts, taking her down every now and then, keeping her happy with that. And Beyonce is full-blown, eyes open, brainwashed, whole 9 yards. She don't see up, she don't see down, she see him, tunnel vision. That's what she sees. He know how to keep Beyonce dumbass in line. Okay, so we have this. Okay, we're going to take a closer look at his picks for the halftime show. As we know, Jay-Z, through Roc Nation, officially took over as the NFL's live entertainment strategist in 2019. Now, that's the year the NFL signed the long-term partnership, giving him authority over halftime show creation. Okay, word on the street, his sidekick in crime, Desiree Perez, had to pull some illegal strings, blackmailing strings. She's a Ghislaine. She is Ghislaine. Okay? Again, she's the power behind Jay-Z. If you want to take him down, take her down first. Holler out to all my witches. Okay. Keep that in mind. Now, why did he choose the people for entertainment? I mean, think about it. Since Roc Nation took over in 2019, Jay-Z has overseen a major shift in who headlines the halftime show. I say again, he picked his favorites, not the favorites. He picked his favorites. Here are the performers confirmed under his tenure. Okay, in 2020, he picked Jennifer Lopez and Shakira. They brought the Latin/pop fusion global representation. It was beautiful. Although these two women could have stand alone, especially Shakira, but it is what it is. Okay. And then we have 2021. Okay. He brought The Weeknd there. The Weeknd. That's what he brought in 2021. He brought Weeknd. I didn't even know he was a solo pop R&B spectacle. That's what he brought in. I wouldn't have brought Weeknd, but this is his choice, so we're just gonna go ahead and just say that's what he brought. And I thought I had a picture of Weeknd in here, but I didn't. So that's what he brought. Okay. And then in 2022, he brought, the rock fusion, the old school historical West Coast hip hop tribute, not the East Coast, the West Coast, and some East Coast too, because Dr. Dre was kind of straddling the fence with East Coast and West Coast, but whatever. So anyway, he brought Dr. Dre, he brought Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, and we know how Mary J. gets Blige down with the Diddy, okay, the diddler. He was definitely probably talking to Diddy and getting his idea on what to, choose, because they were still cool at this time, okay? And then we have Rihanna. Probably forced. It was her first performance in years, a massive cultural moment, and I don't have to say why he brought her in, okay? And then we have Usher, Diddy and Jay-Z's puppet, but also R&B icon, high energy show. So he is our R&B icon, but he's literally Diddy and Jay-Z's puppet. Literally, that's who Usher is, okay? And then we have the 2025 selected by JD, despite the controversy about the New Orleans ties. Like, why didn't he choose Lil Wayne? But remember, he chooses his favorites, not the favorites. He chooses his favorites. He can't seem to separate personal from business. If he needs to separate that, he say he's the business. Motherfucker, you're not acting like you're the goddamn business. You keeping it personal. You got to put aside your little animosity and your issues with this artist and choose it for the people, not for your little insecure ass. Yeah, a rich man can't be insecure. If the only thing they have going for themselves is their money, they're insecure. Okay, so he chose Kendrick Lamar. Okay, despite the New Orleans ties with Lil Wayne. And then last but not least, he chose Bad Bunny. First solo Spanish. He didn't do a solo performance for the women, but he damn sure did it for Bad Bunny. And these women are far more larger than Bad Bunny. They could have stood a stage alone. They ain't have to share a fucking stage. That was an insult, but they still did a beautiful job. Okay, then we have Bad Bunny. First solo Spanish language headline in Super Bowl history. Represents Jay-Z push toward global representation and his agenda to replace Diddy. He wants to be the it person when it comes to music. I mean, just look at his selfish choices. Let's look at that lineup a little closer here. Okay, first we have Jennifer Lopez. We have Jennifer Lopez and Shakira. They paid homage to his partner in crime, because that's who they are. well, Jennifer Lopez anyway. They paid homage to his partner in crime because Jennifer Lopez used to go with Diddy. So she's a link between those two. Okay. All right. Who was there doing homage to not only to Diddy, but also to Desiree Perez because they both Hispanic. Okay. So Desiree Perez is his partner in crime, the woman who has a history working with the CIA, who taunts and stalks her daughter and her boyfriend, among other sick and malevolent things. She also is Hispanic. Did I say that? She helped him land that deal with NFL. Yes, I'm not lying. That is a fucking fact. Take a look at this clip. Hopefully it'll play. Now, the document. This is a live show that I did a while ago. I did invite guests on here, but I'm going to try to bypass that. But I want to show you guys some clips. Nation, this is what you guys are waiting for. This is what pretty much blacklisted my freaking channel and stealing my money. Did I ever tell you guys that they already have my salary already estimated and verified before the month is even over? Fact. Despite, the increase in views and stuff. Yeah. There are some fucking thieves. Now, the document is a verified complaint filed by Demore Hadley against multiple defendants, including her mother, Desiree Perez, alleging unlawful actions and abuse of power that have caused harm to her family. Now, parties involved. Now, apparently, hey, Quiet Storm, how you doing? How you doing? Give you a brief. Okay, you do? Okay, just a moment. If anyone else want to come up. This is inviting her. I was inviting someone on, but I want you guys to look at these videos.
Yes, I can.
He hasn't really been in the scandals. I know he had a child and a family. Social media as well. I didn't really hear anything. Okay, I want to play this video right quick. Hold on just for a moment. Talking about Jay-Z, Beyonce.
Misleading photos of her swollen face, claims her husband knocked her teeth out just to try to get him locked up. In an interview with Tasha K, Demore revealed she hired a private investigator. She says they tried 3 times.
It doesn't involve lynchings.
Oh, God.
Went down the rabbit hole, whatever. And I just want y'all to hear what I read about this lady, Desiree, and her daughter, Demora, and Rock Nation, and all of this. So listen to this real quick. Demora claims her mother, Desiree, which is the lady in the top left corner, Perez, who was once incarcerated for drug trafficking and pardoned by Trump in 2021, allegedly has a history of using her power, influence, and money to control people. But this time, she says it's gone too far. Back in May, Demora filed a lawsuit accusing Desiree, Rock Nation, and 17 other entities of conspiring to have her involuntarily committed. She says they tried 3 times before finally succeeding in March 2024 under Florida's Baker Act. Demore alleges they falsely labeled her as a suicidal drug addict, which was disproven with urine and hair drug tests. While in custody at a mental facility, the motive, Demora believes this is all to sabotage her husband, who they accused of misdemeanor domestic violence, which was disproven as well. She claims her mother has always disliked him and filed false police reports of abuse to railroad him. Demora also says her mother orchestrated fake meetings with Nike directors, hired neighbors to stalk her, and even submitted misleading photos of her swollen face, claims her husband knocked her teeth out.
Yeah, you are seeing what Desiree Perez has been doing to her daughter. This is her daughter. This is Desiree Perez, and this is her daughter and her boyfriend. This is what she was doing. This is what she's capable of. That's what you hear. And her daughter testifying and taking her mother to court for doing this to her.
just to try to get him locked up. In an interview with Tasha K, Demora revealed she hired a private investigator and discovered alleged emails between Roc Nation's attorney and Florida prosecutors. In them, she said they admitted they lacked enough evidence to jail her husband, so they plan to brainwash her and have her committed while he faces human trafficking charges. Now, Demora says she's done being harassed and stalked by her.
Human trafficking. She was padding her boyfriend's case for human trafficking charges. Doesn't that sound familiar? Does R. Kelly sound familiar? Yeah. You want to know who helped pad that case? Her. She has connections with the CIA. She's the power behind Jay-Z. If you want to take Jay-Z down, take her down first.
Her mother and Roc Nation, she's speaking out to expose how legal systems meant to protect are being abused by the powerful people.
This is what I've been saying.
Yeah, let's look at this next video here.
You don't go to the grocery store. I hate going with these big, crazy fucking or, you know.
I'm going to play this video here.
Half there. Like,
here we go.
So when I was like, she's forcing.
This is her daughter talking.
Don't get me started on her. She's Cancer, Capricorn, some crap. She's so family oriented. Family means so much to her. She'd do anything beyond necessary to make sure her family is safe, even if they are cool as hell and committed murder.
Dark magic.
Exactly. So she made that abundantly clear in her book that it's long as hell, but that I'm still reading or listening to. So I'll get into a brief summary about her embellished fictitious book in a week or so when I finish it. But this is this Perez daughter right here, Damari Hadley, talking about her mom.
Why did you sue? I spent a year trying to behind the scenes give her grace as my mother and try to come up with a solution and something where she can stop attacking us. I was trying to stop this relationship with my sibling. I have a niece that was just born 6 months ago that I've never met because of it. My grandmother died 2 months ago. I wasn't able to go to her funeral. Now I can't even talk or speak to my grandfather. Like, I'm losing my family. And so I did my due diligence behind the scenes. Just when we thought we were going to work things out, she sues my husband on April 8th, 2025. But so at that point, I was like, she's forcing me to defend myself. And what is the number one thing that a narcissistic person cares about is their image.
Yep.
And so that's why I had to go out to the media. That's why I had to file a lawsuit. Because I saw that her ego and her image were more important than her relationship with me. Her doing the thing with my grandfather really solidified that. My goal is for her to just stop this, like peace, justice, obviously, all those factors. Everybody needs to be held accountable, right? I need to live a peaceful life and not worry about if a court processor is going to sue us for some stupid thing that we didn't do, or worry about if an investigator is going to be following me. Like, just I don't want to look over my shoulder to think that you're sending somebody because you want to intimidate me. I've tried. Clearly, you don't care about a relationship. You did it to me. I can imagine how many people you're doing it to. Just peace, justice, and to see and be able to speak to my grandfather now. My husband's a very independent, free thinker and free speaker. He does not conform to what society norms are. He has different beliefs. You know, he went to the University of Connecticut with a full scholarship for D1 football. He could have gone to the NFL. Boyfriend. He never wanted to go to the NFL. He thinks the system within the NFL is not in the best favor for Black athletes, right? She didn't like that. And so he uplifted me, educated me just like I have for him. And so her seeing, oh man, like he can influence her possibly more than me. He's showing her a different side of the world that maybe I don't want her to know. Like, that can be threatening for somebody who's always had control over a person. She's very much had control over my whole life, right? Usually parents do. I think it's a mixture of racism, classism, and she never thought we were going to last. In the very beginning, she didn't like him, just because of from the neighborhood where he was born, which is it's so hypocritical because she was not born in the best neighborhood and was a truck driver. She was just judging him for being Black, being born in a bad neighborhood.
What?
Just judgmental. I think after college, when she realized that he's not going anywhere, she actually offered him a position in Roc Nation, and she actually offered me a position and wanted us to move there and work there, and we said no.
Wow.
And imagine when you say no to somebody who's all about power and control.
Because you probably knew what was going to happen as soon as you started working there. They're going to be on your business. They were going to be on the Roc Nation phone.
She felt threatened by him and insulted, and then at the same time, she wanted me to be with a millionaire. Date this person and go here, and so. It's really just about power, control, classism, and just like your typical like narcissistic parent. What you guys can do to help me is repost and reshare, being shadow fans and big powerful media outlets are refusing to report on it. So reshare because a narcissist doesn't like her image to be tainted. and exposed. And I think she needs that so she can stop.
Wow. Yep. Now here is the video with Jagger Wright. Oh. Wow.
Damn.
Wow, her own daughter. Wow. And I'm still just shocked. Are we not remembering that she still works for Roc Nation? I just want to point that out.
Right.
I mean, oh gosh, I'm sorry. Wow. And Beyonce is still married to this man. Here's what Jagger Wright says.
You know, Dolores, she said something very interesting. She said the very people that are supposed to protect you were the people that let her down.
I know my family is telling me out for anything.
Everything that is described in her lawsuit is everything that I've gone through.
See? Told you.
You want to know what's funny? What me and Demora do have in common? Roc Nation is the problem in our lives.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. My.
I wonder how many more people is victim to this.
Now, when it gets to the point where you see that certain tactics are being used repeatedly over and over again on different people's lives for different reasons, and the point of contact is all the same, you can't ignore that.
Yep. Yep.
Or at least
what I said earlier.
We should not ignore that.
Mm-hmm.
We could use 400 more likes. People, come on, let's keep it going.
Yeah, I could use 400. I wish I had 400. How many more people is this happening? Yeah, and the book I was talking about was Tina Knowles' book that I did finish. That narcissistic, I'm wonderful as mother and greatest person in the universe goddamn book. Anyway, so let's go back here. Okay, let's go back to this lineup. Okay, remember Weeknd, he's done some duets with Beyonce. Remember Weeknd done some duets with Beyonce. Okay, we know that. All right, and then we have Dr. Dre and all the rest of this lineup. Okay, Eminem had to beg Jay-Z just to get 50 Cent on the roster, and you didn't even see him in this picture, do you? Because Jay-Z didn't want him on the roster. Eminem had to beg Jay-Z to put him on there. Remember, he's not choosing the favorites; he's choosing his favorites. He want people to kiss his ass. He won't be the new Diddy. Okay, Rihanna. Well, no worries. We already know the deal with her ass. And then we have Usher. Seriously, Usher, the biggest puppet between Diddy and him. Let's call him once victim, turn recruiter, turn enabler. Now he's enabling these people. And then we have Kendrick Lamar. Okay, Kendrick Lamar explained that already. And last but not least, Bad Bunny. He's Hispanic. Enough said. Although his last name is very familiar. I saw it somewhere before. I think it's a Caso or Casey or some shit like that. I saw his last name before. I need to look into that. Now, as we know, Jay-Z only invite his favorites, not the favorites. Hence why he hasn't asked Chris Brown to perform yet, because he's afraid Chris Brown may dethrone Beyonce when it comes to Michael Jackson comparisons. Not to mention Brown connection to Rihanna. You know how weird as Jay-Z mind works. He goes after anyone who fucks his interest of women he's fucked or he wants to fuck. Okay? He did the same thing with R. Kelly over Aaliyah. R. Kelly was the only person to fuck Aaliyah. He didn't like that, so he ruined R. Kelly's fucking career. Hell, I bet he had Desiree Perez, again, pad R. Kelly's case to keep him in jail, because you already know that he had connections with CIA. You just heard her daughter pretty much say that, because her daughter tried to tell everyone that her mom tried to pad her boyfriend's case and accuse him of trafficking, among other fictitious things. Her own goddamn daughter ousted her, and no one's talking about it. And this woman is still running around here free, still doing this malevolent, malicious, and legal things, and still have not been held accountable before. And she has friends with YouTube, cyber geeks, text, because her daughter said that she was putting hidden cameras in her house. It goes deep. It's probably hidden cameras in my house for all the fuck I know. No telling what else. I just want to tell you how deep and crazy it's fucking people go to maintain the narrative of their reputation. Okay? Now, let's move on to brain food. Are you guys still with me? Let me know in the comment section. Okay, if you are, you can go back and listen to it. Okay, tonight we're ending one of the biggest spiritual misunderstandings in history. 3 names people throw around like they're interchangeable.
Okay, because people need to understand what this means in the Bible, because I'm hearing them conflict and mash them all together. And they're three different identities, they're three different people, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so Lucifer, Satan, and the devil. But when you go back to the original languages, Hebrew, I can't even speak Hebrew, Greek, Latin, and you strip away the fear, the folklore, and the church politics, you discover something wild. None of these beings were originally the same. Please note that. They are not originally the same. And none of them were the villain you were taught to fear. Now let's break this down cleanly. And then we'll go back to connecting Age of Aquarius and the book of Revelation, including the verse about the number 6. Because once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. So once I give you this guidance information, you will finally understand the difference between Lucifer, Satan, and the devil, and why does the book of Revelation has a huge connection with this new age of Aquarius. Okay. We have Lucifer, the light bringer. Lucifer is not a demon, first of all. Okay. Lucifer is not Satan. Lucifer is not the devil. Okay. The word Lucifer, okay, is Latin meaning light bringer. Okay. Notate that. Morning star, the shining one. That's what Lucifer is. Okay. It was a poetic nickname for Venus, the planet that rises before the sun, that was originally correlated to goddess Isis. And I'm not getting into the whole theory how they probably changed the whole thing. That's a whole other story. Okay. But if you want some biblical references, in Isaiah 14, Lucifer is used once, and it's talking about a Babylonian king who fell from power, not an angel, not a demon, but a king, which equivalent to the God who speaks highly of himself throughout the entire Bible. So equivalent to God. He was a king. He was God's brother. Okay? Not his little servant or whoever the fuck he think he is. No. Equivalent. Okay? Light, knowledge, awakening, ego. Okay? The one who questions everything. We're talking about God. Okay? He questioned God. That's who Lucifer is. He's the knowledge. He's awakening. He points out the ego. He's the one who questions authority. The one who allows you to question the authority and allow you to see the truth of who this man is that calls himself God. Okay? That's what is going on. And then we have Satan. Satan is not a name. It's a job title. In Hebrew, Satan means the accuser, the adversary, the tester. That's what Satan means. In the book of Job, Satan literally walks into God's throne room like a co-worker. They have a meeting. They negotiate. Satan gets permission to test Job because Satan is the worker for God. Okay? He's the tester for God. He's not Lucifer. Two different jobs, two different entities, just different. Okay? Satan gets permission to test Job. Lucifer doesn't do that because he's equivalent to God. No rebellion, no fall, no horns. So that archetype needs to stop. Challenge, accountability, truth testing. He was like, I bet you Job will fall short if we take away his luxuries. Okay? Him and God is talking. Different entity, different person, different subject. He's the one who challenged accountability. He's a truth testing. The exam that you have to pass. That's who Satan is. Okay? And then we have the devil. The devil was later invented. The word devil comes from the Greek diabolos, meaning the slanderer, the divider, the one who throws obstacles. Over centuries, the church fused Lucifer and Satan. So they fuse Lucifer, fallen star metaphor. It's a metaphor. Satan, accuser, role, the serpent and Eden. They fuse all this into one fucking person. Say they pretty much combined Lucifer, the fallen star, Satan, accuser, the serpent and Eden, the pagan horn gods, the medieval folklore into one character, the devil. When there are three different entities, 3 different jobs, 3 different levels of power. They're not the same. Well, these two are anyway. They just combined these two to this. Okay? Into one character, the devil. Not theology, just pure freaking branding. A simple villain for a complex world. Take a look at these clips that I created.
Did you all know that Yeshua, also known as Jesus, didn't want to build a church? You see, the word church originally meant a gathering, but the institution became a tool of power. After Rome adopted Christianity, it centralized control, suppressed older spiritual traditions, and grew into a political and economic system. The spiritual idea of community split from the institutional system built for authority, not liberation. Yeshua wanted to build an ecclesia, which is rebellion against the church and darkness. He wanted to enhance people spiritually. This is why they had him killed.
Satan was the first to plant a church, and most Christians are still attending it. Let's break something wide open. When Jesus said, "I will build my ecclesia," he didn't say church. That word came later, added during translation by religious and political leaders who had a very different agenda. You see, ecclesia was about people called out of the world system, walking in spiritual authority. But church? That word became a tool of control. It gave rise to religious structures, power hierarchies, and spiritual manipulation disguised as worship. So while you think you're following Jesus, you might actually be upholding something the enemy designed to neutralize you. Satan knew that if he couldn't stop the body of Christ, he could institutionalize it. And the proof is everywhere. Passive believers, divided denominations, leaders obsessed with titles, buildings, and budgets. All while the real mission, heaven's kingdom, gets buried beneath programs and performance. Jesus didn't come to start a religion. He came to usher in a kingdom. And the original ecclesia, it wasn't a church service. It was a rebellion against darkness. Follow for more truth outside of churchianity.
The Pisces age was when the Bible was written. Aquarius is at this age. The age of Aquarius is not mentioned in the Bible. Black Jesus told us to follow the man with the bucket for this reason. Although buckets of water were traditionally carried by women rather than men. But remember, men put together the Bible. Enough said. However, the Aquarius symbol does carry one. Because the Bible ends at the age of Pisces, there isn't a book that explains what will happen in this new era. Read about the chaos that occurs during every transition, and at the end of Revelation is now. To be continued. Lucifer, Latin word meaning light bringer, a metaphor for Venus, not a demon. Satan, a Hebrew job title meaning the accuser, basically the cosmic prosecutor, not a fallen angel. The devil, a later mashup created from folklore, politics, and fear-based storytelling. Now here's the twist. Revelation says 666 is the number of a man. And the most common form of carbon, the element that makes up the human body, is 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. So maybe 666 was never about a monster. Maybe it was about us, the physical human condition. And the age of Aquarius, that's the era of awakening, truth, and revelation. Not the end of the world, the end of the old world. Maybe the real villain was ignorance, and the revelation is the awakening.
Facts. Okay. Now let's do some breakdown here. Now let's go to Revelation, the number 6. Revelation 13:18 says, "Let the one with understanding calculate the number, for it is the number of men." It says of a man, but I believe it said it meant man. Not a demon, not a monster, a man. In ancient symbolism, 6 represents humanity, incompleteness, the physical world, the unfinished state of creations. Does it really mean that? Humans were created on the 6th day, powerful but incomplete. So 6 equal the human condition. Does it? A human condition, which means human, mankind. That's what it means. So in relation to the 666, the number of the body, because we know 6 means the body, human creation. It means humans. That's what 666 means. Here's where it gets deep. The most common form of carbon, carbon 12, the element that forms all living things, is built with 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons. That's 666. Not a demon, not a curse, a description of physical life. Carbon is the backbone of DNA, cells, proteins, and the human body. So when Revelation says the number of man, ancient readers would have to understand that 666 means the physical human condition. Okay, the material world, the body, not evil, just unfinished. So it means this 666 means the body, human, mankind. Okay, the real beast, because it says the beast as well. Revelation isn't warning you about a creature or something. It's warning you about what humans build when they forget their own divinity, their own DNA. Okay? When it happens, corrupt empires, oppressive governments, false authority, when you forget where you came from, that's what happens. Systems that imitate perfection but fall short. Okay? The beast is not a being, it's a structure. The mark is not a symbol, it's an allegiance to corrupt systems. It's Aquarius in the black zodiac. Hence, fear the beast. Because we expose corrupt empires, oppressive governments, false authority. Okay? We lift the veil and cleanse chaos. So it's a propaganda. Revelation is not about monsters, it's about institutions. That's what that verse means. People need to stop thinking of it as metaphors and read it for what the verse is, not for what you think it is. They didn't use a lot of metaphors back then. We didn't know what metaphors or whatever they experience or whatever is relevant for that time frame. We can't think of metaphors on what we experience now because they may not have experienced that or have that type of mind frame back when this scripture was written. So take the verse and scriptures of what it is, which is what I did. Okay, now the Aquarius. Aquarius is the age of revelation, exposure, truth-telling, system collapsing, hidden things coming to light, collective awakening, as you see here, cleansing. Okay, then we have revelation. How do they correlate? Sound familiar, doesn't it? Lucifer, light bringer. Aquarius, truth bearer. Revelation, unveiling. These archetypes echo each other. The age of Aquarius is not the rise of evil, it's the fall of illusion. It's the moment when the physical, which means the physical body, 6, the number 6, that's what it means, meets the awakening, the 7th day. And the veils lift. That's what the age is. That's what Revelation does. This is the shift from carbon consciousness to cosmic consciousness, which means from being filtered from all the chemicals they put in your body to cosmic consciousness, to clear consciousness. That's what this shift is. That's why you see a lot of people going back, analyzing the Bible and having the need to tell the truth and ask questions that's been pondering them for years, but they have the bravery to do it. Okay. And then we have the real revelation. So you know that Lucifer equals light and Satan is the test. So you have Lucifer that equals the light. Satan is the test. Devil is the divider. 666 is the body. It means the human body. They put devil as a divider because it literally combined these two and it divided the true meaning of what they are. So the real question becomes, who benefits from keeping people afraid of the light, afraid of questions and afraid of their own power? Who benefits from everyone being submissive and not asking questions? Who lynched and literally punished so-and-so in the Garden of Eden for taking a bit of knowledge, the fruit, which means knowledge? Who got punished for merely having or choosing free will? Who prevented them and wanted them not to have free will? Not to ask questions. Who did that? And who was afraid of their own power? Because the age of Aquarius is here to break the spell. Revelation isn't predicting destruction, it's predicting disclosure. Not the end of the world, not the end of it's end of the old world. That's what it is. The end of systems built on fear, the end of narratives built on control, the end of confusions about who the villain really is. You will also read about the narcissistic God as you read in the book of Revelation and how controlling he is. He goes into a tangent saying anyone who goes along with having choices, aka the mark of the beast, choosing your body, choosing your mind, choosing to have a cosmic connection, a higher consciousness, which is what the beast is, which is also in Black Zodiac, the Aquarius, okay? Choosing that instead of being submissive and blind with him. And he's giving you empty promises that he never fulfilled. So, it's the creators of the Bible playing mind games too, because they put their own political agenda in there as well. Like, is that unusual? No. You see, the mark is like eating the fruit of the tree that breaks us from the spell of submission and conformity. It gave us the eyes to see clearly, aka godlike qualities, which is what he did not want you to do. He didn't want you to have godlike qualities because then he'd be exposed. Okay, so the height of consciousness here. Okay, because it didn't stop there. They tried to scare us from reaching a new consciousness by saying in Revelation 13, 16 through the 17th verse, and I'm paraphrasing for clarity, okay? Not full verbatim text. It describes a symbolic mark placed on the forehead or the right hand, representing a person's belief, forehead, and actions, allegiance, right hand. Let me break down what these two physical parts of your body mean, okay? The passage explains that those who accept these marks are aligning themselves with the corrupt system, and anyone who marks on their head or their right hand. So anyone who has the mark on their head and on their right hand is corrupted. This is what God in the Bible don't want you to even tap into because he'd be exposed. Yeah, let me break that down. We know the third eye here, which you all know the forehead is where the third eye is, which is the intuition. It's the inner wisdom and clear visions. And why would they want that? I mean, they've been trying to block anyone from reaching the height of consciousness forever with the forbidden orders of sorcerers, witchcraft, crystals, etc. Everything that they use, they don't want you to have any part of it all. Anything that could help you see clearer of their manipulation, they tell you not to go to it, forbid it, it's a sin. Don't do tarot cards either. Don't do anything that they're doing. They want you to be blind, submissive, and stupid. And the right hand, I'm telling you, the right hand has its own symbolic meaning as well. A lot of people don't know this because a lot of people don't research. The right hand is the oldest symbol of power in human history, which is why when you read someone's palm, you look at their right hand. Across civilizations, the right hand always meant authority, blessings, which means blessings pretty much means sacrifice. Okay, action, skill, dominion, identity, oath-taking, and spiritual agency. This is why the Bible uses it so heavily, not because the right hand is evil, because the right hand represents power. Your right hand represents power. Ancient Egypt, the hand that acts. In Kemet, the right hand symbolized creative power, the hand that shapes reality. Authority, pharaohs raised the right hand in rituals. Skill and craftsmanship, protection. The raised right hand, warding gesture. So for protection, they raised their right hand. The right hand was literally the symbol of Heka, the ability to shape the world through intentions and action. The ancient Near East, the hand of God, the Mesopotamian canon, and early Hebrew culture. King said at the right hand of the identity. The right hand meant favor, legitimacy, and chosen status. Oaths were sworn with the right hand raised. Blessings were given with the right hand. This is why the Bible constantly says the right hand of God, sit at my right hand with the mighty hand and outstretched arm. Okay. It's also about power and authority, not literal hands. That's what the right hand means, which is why he don't want you to have that mark on those two very prominent areas, your forehead, which is the third eye, and your right hand. He don't want you to have any power. He wants you to be sheep and do his bidding. Okay? Judaism, the right hand is a covenant. In Hebrew culture, this is Hebrew culture, the right hand means strength. The right hand means identity. The right hand is your oath, your word, your allegiance. This is why the mark on the right hand in Revelation is symbolic. It means your actions and your allegiance. Not a literal mark, not a literal hand, not a literal band of consciousness. It means your actions and your allegiance. And then we have, last but not least, Christianity, the right hand as divine dominion. But it also means in the New Testament, uses the right hand to symbolize this, ascension, divine approval, chosen status, power to act. Yeshua, aka Jesus, allegedly sat at the right hand of God. Did he? Meaning ultimate authority, not a physical seat. So when Revelation talks about the mark on the right hand, it's saying don't reach higher consciousness, because the forehead equal mind, beliefs, worldview, which means you get to see it in a clear perception. The right hand means your actions, choices, and power. He don't want you to have any choices. He don't want you to have any power. He don't want you to see anything clearly. He don't want you to see the lies. He don't want any of that. He said anyone who has that mark of the beast, which is the beast is your body, you get thrown in the lake of fire, which means he will kill you. At least that's what he says. It's symbolic. Why the Bible warns / scare everyone about the forehead and right hand if this went over your head? Because together they represent what you believe, the forehead, what you do, the right hand. That's what those two physical parts of your body mean. In ancient symbolism, that combination equals your entire identity of power. He wants to cut that off, which is why he said anyone marks with the beast, which is the body. The beast also is the black zodiac for Aquarius, for clear perception, which means higher consciousness and get in tune with your body spiritually. That's what this new age is, which is what he is forbidding and don't want you to have. Okay? And he tries scaring you and then give you empty promises that he never keeps. So, Revelation isn't warning against consciousness, it's warning against misusing consciousness as power. Why? Because the real truth, you are not reaching something forbidden. You're tapping into the same symbolic language as ancient cultures used to describe as awakening, agency. This is before the age of Aries. Spiritual sight, personal power, divine alignment. The Bible was clearly banning consciousness. It was literally blocking your alignment. I mean, let's be realistic here. They say it was evil. God said it was evil. God being God, Amen Ra, if you've been listening to my past live shows, he is a genocidal maniac. He was also always the evil one. And in the end of Revelation, he revealed himself. He went from pretending to be Jesus, because it's evidentiary. If you was a cop, you'll see that he was pretending to be Jesus in some parts of the Bible. He was pretending to be Jesus, Yeshua, okay, to revealing that he was God all along. So he was faking, pretending to be someone else, okay? And Yeshua was supposed to have been dead, but he was pretending to be a Yeshua. He went from the Son to say what my Father says, that I am God, I am the one, I'm the Omega, I'm the Omega. He was really feeling himself at the end there. He really revealed his true colors at the end, didn't he? Okay? He was like, that's what he did. Because we know Yeshua was only a man. He was a messenger. He was a leader who died for telling the truth, a man who accepted his fate. He knew he was going to die. Like every leader in history who told the truth, they knew their fate was coming. From Martin Luther King to Malcolm X, Edgar Everett, all of them, they knew their fate for telling the truth. He knew he was going to die. He didn't die for our sins. He accepted his death. But manipulating politics of the Bible want people to embrace death because they were causing so much of it. They won't feel bad about it, and they don't want you to feel bad about it either. Okay? So he wasn't dying for our sins. That was all manipulation. In Revelation, God is hoping he will win, using the same tactics of fear and violence. He thinks after doing all of this, everything would go back to all women being obedient sex slaves and slaves in general, or men punching bags, and everyone bowing down to him, ending their prayers in his name. Because God, our man, is Jesus and Zeus. I want you to take a look at these clips, and then we're going to end it here. I want everyone to ask themselves this question before you go to sleep. Okay? I want you to ask yourself this question. Those who are still bowing to Jesus, Yeshua, because of Jesus in the Bible, there is the messenger in the Bible, the real message he was delivering, and then it's the manipulated message that was from God Almighty pretending to be Yeshua, who reveals himself pretending to be him in Revelation. Okay? What did he ever do to slavery when Christianity was forced upon our people? Why do we continuously bow down and pray to a God that never gave two shits about us? Why do we continuously do that? Ask yourself that question.
Grandma, if the slave and the slave master was praying to the same God, whose prayers were being answered?
Child, that's a mighty question. Baby, with over 400 years of slavery, our prayers definitely wasn't getting answered. And this right here is why the slave and the slave master can't pray to the same God.
There you go.
Because justice don't share an altar with cruelty.
Enough said. The evil and the non-evil, the slave and the slave masters cannot pray to the same God because justice cannot share the same altar as cruelty. Remember that. Discuss how the church made us submit to the wrong identity. All this time we were submitting to the wrong identity. We were submitting to a God who's evil, jealous, genocidal maniac. The church wasn't trying to save souls. The church was collecting them. Literally. That's what the church was doing. Maybe Lucifer was never the enemy. Maybe Satan was never the villain. Maybe the devil was a story stitched together to keep people afraid. And maybe 666 was never a curse. It was a signature of the human body, the DNA codes of melanin, waiting for the age of Aquarius to remember its own light. And I'm going to end it here. Y'all have a wonderful night. Buenas noches. See you later. Go back and look at this last part. This is the Truth Show. Good night.
We see you, we see you, we remember, we remember. I am the storm, I am the storm, I am the silence, I am the silence, I am the truth unveiled, I am the truth unveiled.
You are seen, you are known, you are known, you are